From Wheelock Stadium on the campus of Riverside City College, it is the SCFA championship matchup between the Riverside City College Tigers and the Cougars of the College of the Canyons. Hi, everybody. I'm J.R. Ibarra, along with my broadcast partner, Jeff Gorham. Jeff, we have a great matchup of two teams tonight, with Riverside coming in at 11-0, College of the Canyons at 9-2. I think these two teams have definitely deserved to be here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what. Last year, College of the Canyons came in 10-0. They're looking for redemption, but they have had a common opponent, and that is Saddleback. And last week, it was all College of the Canyons versus Saddleback.
It was a 58-53 victory for College of the Canyons, but they had a 32-point lead going into the fourth quarter and almost had that slip away from them. On the flip side, Riverside had a really good night going up against Mount San Antonio College with a very big 48-0 win. I know you were here to see that. I'm sure that was quite a clubbing against the Mounties of Mount San.
I'll tell you what, it was the Jacob Bartlett show. He was phenomenal. He was sitting in the pocket. He was throwing darts to everybody, and they were just hitting on all cylinders. Defensively, it was a shutout. They just played phenomenal football, and they looked like they were destined for another national championship. 30 years apart, mind you.
That's quite a statistic, and I think talking about Jacob Bartlett, I mean, him along with Armani Eden, the quarterback for College of the Canyons, is a really good matchup tonight. Bartlett has 2,100 yards on the season, 25 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions, so he's really kept the ball pretty safe offensively here for the Tigers of Riverside. On the flip side, Eden has 2,700 yards passing, another 325 rushing. So defensively, I think Riverside really needs to be concerned with his ability to move out of the pocket.
Well, they're going to have to definitely put a spy on him. But I'll tell you, this defense that Riverside has, they are so fast on the outside. They funnel everything to the inside, and they play very good defensive football.
Big matchup tonight, big implications. Whoever wins tonight will play San Mateo in a couple of weeks for the State College Championship, State Community College Championship. So there's a lot riding on this football game. Kickoff is coming up in just a bit. You're watching all the action here on Riverside TV. All right, J.R. Ibarra along with Jeff Gorham for tonight's SCFA matchup with the Riverside Tigers taking on the Cougars of College of the Canyons. And Jeff, one factor we haven't talked about is the rain. It has been raining steady for about the past hour, and it's varied in intensity, and that may play somewhat of a factor in this ball game.
Well, it could be a factor for both teams, but none so much more than for the Tigers. Jacob Bartlett is really that guy that will stand in the pocket and throw the football. We might see a different quarterback tonight if the rain persists, because Mike Irwin, I'll tell you what, is one of those versatile, mobile quarterbacks. We might see a little bit of him as well.
You know, I would think that the Riverside Tigers may think about a different strategy tonight based on the fact that weather could play a little bit into this ball game, so we'll see what happens. Riverside has won tonight's toss, and they have elected to receive tonight's kickoff.
Number 13, Tanner Brown, back deep for the Tigers. Back deep, number 1.
So it is Tanner Brown who will kick off here for College of the Canyons. Back to receive is Ray Estes.
Back deep, number 1, Rolando Williams, Jr.
And we're just about set to go play for this championship competition tonight. Riverside taking on College of the Canyons, and we are underway from Wheelock Stadium. Nice high boot. Going to put Estes right at the goal line. He's going to take it out at the 10 to the 15 to the 20. Has a bit of a seam. Little bit more daylight brings it down to about the 40-yard line. Well, he'll be met there by a couple of defenders. Avi Harris makes the stop for College of the Canyons, and now Riverside will start things off with some pretty decent field position here, Jeff.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the special teams tonight can really play a factor in this, because Riverside is so dynamic with those guys. I'll tell you, kick it out of the end zone if you're College of the Canyons. They could cause some damage.
First down and 10 from the 40. The give is going right up the middle. This for about 4 yards before we get a rugby scrum going on here.
And Riverside will try to change it up. They'll run a little bit. They're going to try to spread that defense out by going with the ground and pound early here.
No huddle, hurry up offense. Very typical. Oh, we have a little bit of a bobble, and we have a whistle on the play because I think there was a procedure call. So this is actually kind of lucky for Riverside, as Bartlett was not expecting that snap at all. Yep, false start. First penalty of the game here for Riverside. Our officials tonight, will be Jeff Phillips as your referee, Jay Drury the umpire. The linesman is Trent Brown. The line judge is Brandon Ballou. The back judge, Tyron Clark. Field judge is Garrett Earls, and the side judge is John Gill III. Second down now. And it looks like they lost 1 yard. Back to passes. Barlage has a man open, and the catch is made to the 30, 25, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Riverside. Isaiah Leith making the catch and coming up with a 60-yard touchdown.
I'll tell you what, JR, they don't hold the ball very long on offense because they don't need to. They score in bunches. You and I talked before the game. I said, be prepared. This Riverside team is explosive, and they can score at any given play.
You know, I kind of expect this out of Coach Tom Kraft because he loves that hurry-up offense. He likes to keep this pace moving. It's almost like Chip Kelly, if you would kind of compare it to any big-time college coach, and he just comes right out of the bat wanting to run and gun. Kick is up on the way, and it is good. So just like that, with just over a minute in this ball game, it is Riverside 7 and College of the Canyons nothing.
And really, Coach Kraft's offense, we've seen them several times this year. They got to get into a rhythm, and when they get going early, they're pretty tough to stop because when your offense gets going, your defense gets behind you. It just seems to be synergy at its best with this Riverside team.
You know, it's a pretty daring thing to try when you have some moisture out right now, but nonetheless, it seems like Barlage and the connection there he made to Leith was just right on spot. So now, College of the Canyons will receive the football for the first time this evening.
Yeah, they just shot off the cannon, and literally I was watching. I don't know if you saw this, JR, but they had one of the high hurdles, and it snapped in half. It was right in front of it. It blew it to smithereens down there.
I think that cannon might be seeing a lot of action tonight, just like it did last Saturday night against Mount San Antonio. Long kickoff into the end zone will be a touchback. Thanks to Zach Servillas, who's your kicker here for Riverside City College. So Armani Eden is your starting quarterback here for College of the Canyons, and as we mentioned in the pregame, this guy has put up some incredible numbers. 2,700 yards on the season, 24 touchdowns. He also has 325 yards on the ground, so he's a dual threat, Jeff.
And he's from West Palm Beach. I'm going to tell you what, you leave Florida, you come out to sunny Southern California, and now you're playing for a state championship. This is pretty awesome.
This is a nice setup here. I think both these teams are pretty evenly matched, so let's see what happens here with College of the Canyons on their very first offensive series for the evening. Play action. And being chased and brought down for a huge loss. 15 yards on the sack. And that's not a good way to start off offensively here.
No, your first play of the game, offensively, you just get drilled. He couldn't even get outside of the tackle boxes to get rid of it. I'll tell you, this Riverside defense is just as fast on the defensive side as they are on the offensive side.
We'll talk a little bit more about the Riverside defense because it is pretty stout, especially in the linebacking crew. 2nd and 25 with the ball spotted at the 10-yard line of College of the Canyons. Still early here in the first quarter. Riverside leading by 7. Back to passes Eden. Decides to check up. This is where he can be dangerous. Takes the ball to about the 19-yard line where he's finally stopped on the play. Looks like Kobe Fitzgerald making the stop there for Riverside.
Yeah, Kobe Fitzgerald, a fantastic player, played at Servite High School, but lives out here in the Inland Empire. Was driving back and forth, played at, I believe, at Murrieta Valley at one point, but finished up at Servite and had a great career here at RCC.
3rd and 17. Clock is running at 12:40 here in the first quarter. Eden looking to pass, throws it down the middle, and just out of the reach of his intended receiver. That was Tiquan Gilmore. Comes out of Esteban Torres High School in Los Angeles, and it looks like College of the Canyons will obviously have to elect to punt this one away.
And that's the problem. You got to punt to some playmakers there, and that waiting there.
Tanner Brown is your kicker/punter here for College of the Canyons. He's a graduate out of Saugus High School. High snap. Oh, and this will be a touchback. Boy, the hits just keep on coming here for the special teams.
So just like that, and Riverside's going to get the ball back after the score because of the safety.
So the safety adds another 2 points. Now we're at 9-0, and we're still very early here in the first quarter. 12:35. The clock is currently stopped right now. So just like that, a couple of miscues by College of the Canyons puts Riverside 9 points ahead. And, boy, you don't want to dig a hole that quick, Jeff.
No, you don't want to dig a hole against the best offense in the nation. And that's what it is. It comes down to you can't give them any opportunities. Defensively, offensively, you can't have any penalties because this Riverside team is so they just destroy teams.
They take advantage of issues just like that,
Yes,
as we
they
see
do.
on the replay. And they cause issues like that, too. So defensively, they're beginning to obviously rattle the cage of College of the Canyons right off the bat. So just like that, Tanner Brown will have to boot this one after that miscue. Ray Estes once again back.
Number 13, Tanner Brown, kicking for the Cougars.
Kick is on the way. Estes will take it right at about his 24. Has some daylight. Brought down by the shoestrings there at the 45. He's pounding the turf because he saw a lot of green ahead of him.
And he saw a lot of green all season long. In fact, he is one of those guys that can just cause problems because he's such a playmaker anytime he touches the ball.
Ray Estes, a defensive back here for Riverside City College, will obviously do a little bit of the special teams as well. So now 1st down and 10 with the ball at the 45-yard line. Riverside with a 9-point lead at present. Give up the middle. Gain of about 3 yards. And Kinslow, your ball carrier. Excuse me, that is number 5. That is Elijah Bennett, your running back. He has 193 yards on the season, a couple of touchdowns, and averages about 4.7 per carry. 2nd down, 7. Barledge back to pass, dumps it out into the flat. Ball is now taken to about the 45, 44-yard line. On the reception is Elijah Bennett. So once again, Bennett's seen some action here early in this game, Jeff.
Yeah, and with Coach Kraft, he's one of those guys that he can run it up quickly, or he can slow it down, chew a lot of clock up. He's really one of those guys that can do anything he wants offensively.
1st down and 10, right at about the 44 of College of the Canyons. Back to passes Barledge. Once again, going to dump it out to the flat, very low, and catch is made, but taken right to the line of scrimmage. On the reception is Giovanni Sanders out of Murrieta Mesa.
Yeah, Giovanni Sanders last week, I'll tell you, he turned some heads. He had everybody's head on a lazy Susan. He was so quick.
Actually lost a yard on that one, so we're going to call it 2nd down and 11. Great defensive work here for College of the Canyons. 2nd and 11. Ball's right at the 45. Winslow in motion. Back to passes Barledge. Catch is made right at about the 40, maybe the 41.
Complete to the 39-yard line.
So the ball's at the 39.
Corrected, 41-yard line.
Reggie Retzlaff making the reception on that last pickup. So 3rd down, about 3rd and 7 here. Give is to Winslow. Going to be shy the 1st down marker. The initial hit is made by Tyler Richardson.
That'll bring up a 4th and 3 for the Tigers.
4th down, 3 to go, and it looks like Riverside's going to continue on here offensively. Let's see what Barledge comes up with. He looks to the sideline one more time for some instructions here from Coach Kraft. Gives to Winslow. Has some daylight to his left, to the 25, and takes it down to the 20, where he's finally wrestled down, but picks up a 1st down.
Well, I'll tell you what, every part of the field is 4-down territory for Coach Kraft, as we just saw there. The gambler won.
Yeah, Thomas Kinslow having to come off the field now, lost his shoes, so he'll have a sub in the backfield. Looks like they'll bring in Jalen Young in the backfield, and it's a pass out to Young and just a little bit out of his reach.
I'm glad that pass was thrown in front of him and not behind him. That would have been a live ball.
That could have been some trouble. Rain is kind of curtailed just a bit. I think it's spitting just a little bit, but nonetheless, it's still kind of moist out. So it's kind of interesting to see Riverside trying to throw the football with some wet hands here for Barlage.
Well, I remember playing. We used to put tough skin on our hands. Remember the tough skin?
Yeah.
And we used to call it stick 'em. But then about halfway through the game, your hands would be so slippery you couldn't catch a football.
2nd down and 10. Ball's at the 20 of Canyons. Barlage's going to look to the sidelines. Last-minute call. Give is going to go right up the middle. Going to gain about 5 yards on the carry. Once again, it's Jalen Young. So it's very interesting to see Kraft kind of mix things up here in the backfield in terms of his running backs.
Oh, he's used 8 of them we saw earlier in the game this year. He's got guys from everywhere, and they're as good as the next guy.
That's what's interesting when you see things statistically. You don't have one guy who's really far ahead yardage-wise than all the others. It's pretty evenly spread, as now Riverside's looking at a 3rd down and 6. Give once again up the middle with some daylight. Ball taken down to the 5-yard line. Once again, it's Jalen Young on the carry, and Jaquan Vukobradovic making the stop for College of the Canyons.
I mean, when you have that offensive line is so strong, you can go off any tackle. You're going to get 3 to 5 yards every single time.
1st and goal now here for Riverside. Clock is 8:40 and running. And the give, once again, right up the middle for another touchdown is Jalen Young, untouched. So Jalen Young takes it in for a 6-yard carry. Nice work by the offensive line, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, that is the key to this offense, is those big boys up front. I'll tell you, they are so good. They can create a hole for anybody. You and I could get 100 yards playing with these guys.
And we're slow.
We are slow as can
slow
be.
as molasses. So on here for the extra point. Snap is down, kick is up, looking good, and it is good. So just like that, 8:35 here in the first quarter. It is 16-0 in favor of the Tigers. There we take a look at some of the way Kraft has mixed things up, dumping it off in the flat. And this toss off into the sidelines, and then finishing things up with a running.
Thomas Kinslow, a stud out of Centennial High School, part of the Evil Empire. And Matt Logan over there.
So now College of the Canyons will get another opportunity to try things offensively here. They really had their miscues early on, and they are trailing by 16 points at present. And this will be, no, they're going to run it out. I thought he was going to call for a touchback. Ball's taken to the 25. Run back on the play by Taquan Gilmore.
Yeah, I was a little surprised they came out that deep in the end zone.
Wow. That was daring, but I guess when you're down by 16 points, you're trying not to get too far behind in this ball game.
Yeah, you might as well try anything you can.
This is a championship game. It's a win-or-go-home situation. As we mentioned, this will determine who heads to the state championships to face off against College of San Mateo. 1st down and 10. Ball is at the 20. In fact, it's Taquan Gilmore who's coming into the game. Will be spread left here for Canyons. Armani Eden looking things over. And looks like we're going to have movement. So another couple of miscues here. False start. And that will set back Canyons by 5 yards. So now 1st down and 15. So repeat 1st down. Clock stops at 8:29. Head in with a single set. 2 spread left. Oh, we may have encroachment now on the Tigers. Let's see what the call will be.
Penalty flag on the play.
So the Tigers give it right back.
5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
So the Cougars of College of the Canyons give up 5, and Riverside gives it right back to them by an encroachment call. Now 1st down and 10 like it originally was. Eden looking to the sideline. So they pretty much do a no-huddle offense as well, Jeff. It's kind of the same almost offensive look.
Almost mirrored.
Yeah, it looks very similar. I've seen a couple of games, and it looks very similar to Riverside. Looking down the field, and nowhere near an intended receiver. Looks like it might have been number 9, your intended receiver, of Trevon Elliott. Elliott out of North Central High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. Comes a long way here to Southern California to play some community college football.
Yeah, Coach Kraft has guys from all over the world on his team.
It's amazing to see the roster here as you see guys from all over the place. We'll talk a little bit about that as the game progresses here. Clock is stopped at 8:23, second down and 10. Ball remains out to 20 here of Canyons. Oh, we got movement. I'm surprised there was no flag. Now timeout. I saw movement by one of the linemen. I don't know if you saw that too,
I
Jeff.
did too, and there was
and I'm really surprised no flag was thrown. I don't know if your refs and umpire were being just merciful tonight.
Maybe they had water dripping in their eyes.
Thomas Lebaucher, the offensive lineman, 6'6", 305 pounds, from Quebec City, Canada.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're from all over the world.
Oh, it's amazing. And you know, that's the thing, Jeff. I know you guys have mentioned it in previous broadcasts, just with, you know, the amount of quality football here in community college in Southern California. It is not surprising, as we'll take a look at this again as they take the time out. But you'll see guys from all over the country and all over the world come to Southern California to be part of these programs.
Yeah, and it's really strange. You say, hey, I played football in Switzerland. Well, how do you play football in Switzerland? But apparently they have like travel ball type club teams over there. So, you know, Coach Kraft and his staff find these guys everywhere.
Gaining in popularity in Europe, so obviously with the NFL trying to set up shop over there, it's causing some of those youngsters across the pond to take notice here of what's happening here in Southern California. The give is going to go to the left and going no place, and even a loss here for the College of the Canyons. Carry on the play goes to Caden Dunn. Their leading rusher and their leading running back just going no place. In fact, getting hauled down. Well, they're not going to call it a loss, but he's right back at the line of scrimmage. Caden Dunn, over 670 yards on the ground this year, so he's definitely been capable of running the football. Third down and 10. Eden back to pass, looking down the center. Catch is made to the 30. Will be a first down pickup here. Finally, Imari Smith making the catch.
I believe that's the first time they've moved the sticks tonight.
Yeah, that's the first time they've moved the change, and they're going to go into kind of a hurry-up mode, and they usually go no huddle. They'll look to the sidelines for the offensive call. That's what's kind of entertaining, is to see the hand signals that are coming from the sideline.
Yeah, it's always funny. It makes me laugh every time we watch those coaches.
Eden looking to pass out to his right. Ball is batted down. Great defensive play here for the Tigers.
Yeah, Kylan Ross over there on the stop, I believe.
Yeah, that was Ross, defensive back from Calabasas High School. We'll make it a second down and 10 situation with the ball remaining at the 35. Clock stops at 7:13. Riverside leading this contest by 16 points.
I'm really surprised anybody's testing the secondary. Last week, Riverside had 5 interceptions.
Yeah, it was a big night last week, 48-0 against the Mount Sac Mounties. The give is going to go to Dunn. He's looking for some daylight, takes it to the 40, and brought down right at about the 43-yard line.
And talking about last week's shutout, we were talking up here in the booth. That was the first home shutout in the Tom Kraft era, which has been 10 years.
That's amazing. That's an amazing stat, because you would never think that of a Tom Kraft-led offense. James Hansen made the stop on the last play. This will make it a third down and 2. Clock is rolling at 6:41. Eden going to drop back, looking to his right. Open man. Balls to the 40, and all the way with daylight to the touchdown. Alonzel Henderson, your wide receiver, coming up with 6 on a nice slant pattern there, Jeff.
And I'll tell you what, we're not going to have a shutout here tonight. As I'll tell you, there was no one near him as he ran. It was a perfect pass. Great play call by College of the Canyons.
Looks like it was somewhat of a breakdown there in the linebacking and secondary that allowed Henderson to get out into the open so really cleanly there. And they come up with their first points of the ball game. So this really does help boost some energy back into the life of the Cougars here for College of the Canyons. Clock is stopped at 6:26. Once again, it's Tanner Brown in for the kick. Puts it up through the uprights. Looks good, and it is. So just like that, College of the Canyons really kind of gets themselves back into this ball game. Let's take another look at this, Jeff.
Yeah, that could have been rough if they hadn't came out with a score there, because, Riverside has been poked. But look at that. I mean, just like you said, a blown covers defensively.
Wow. Yeah. I'm sure the Tigers will have to make a few adjustments to try to curtail anything like from that happening one more time. Now it seems like the rain has completely stopped, but we still have a little bit of a soggy field here at Wheelock Stadium. Talking about the coaches involved tonight, Tom Kraft, 11-0 on the season, had his 100th win last week.
That's right.
For beating the Mount Sac Mounties. So it's interesting. He had 115 victories for Palomar in his tenure there. Another 100 here. So this is a guy who is legendary in his career.
And he's done just an incredible everywhere he's gone. His offense was prolific with San Diego State. He just knows how to score the football. He'd be a great basketball coach. I'll tell you what, he has basketball scores most of the time.
He's a great offensive mind, and it's amazing how many points the Tigers have put up. As a short, almost pooch kick, going to be taken by Estes. No, going to be taken right at the 25. And that's where the Tigers will operate with a first down and 10. Martinique Finn was your man to catch the reception there on the kickoff. And now with a first and 10 right at the 26-yard line or so. 27 they're going to call it. Barledge with a man in motion. Give us to Kinslow, excuse me. So Kinslow back in the backfield. It looks like he's limping off the field. So I wonder if he's had a little bit of issues here, maybe injury-wise here, Jeff.
Yeah, he's not looking like himself. I'll tell you, Kinslow's one of those guys. It's a gamer. He's always ready to go. Comes off the field.
Elijah Bennett back into the backfield. In fact, they're going to dump it off or try to dump it off to Elijah Bennett coming off the backfield, but he bobbles it, lets it get through his hands. And that could have been, as a factor, the moisture that's on the ground, on the ball right now.
Yeah, because he normally doesn't miss a ball that hits him in a bad spot, right in the hands, especially with those yellow gloves for guys, or whatever color. Those green or yellow?
Like a fluorescent type glove.
They look like they're one of those highlighters.
I guess it gives a better target there for Barledge, maybe.
I guess so.
You can see his hands. So it's a nice target maker there for your quarterback. Barledge looking to his right, looking downfield, catch is made at the 50, and wide open. To the 10-5 and touchdown. It is Isaiah Leaf once again, second time tonight.
And just like that, College of the Canyons was feeling great. They can't feel too good right now.
Boy, that really takes the wind out of their sail here as Leaf comes up with a huge grab from Barledge. So just like that, the Tigers of Riverside strike right back and extend that lead even further.
We still have 5:42 left in the first quarter.
That's amazing. Cervelis kick up, looks good, and it is. So it now is 23-7 in favor of Riverside. Yeah, just when you thought College of the Canyons might be sneaking up on you, they come up with this huge play from Barledge.
And just a perfect pass thrown. And a missed tackle, though. How do you just go for the ball? You got to wrap the guy up.
Yeah, look at Lee, just completely untouched for about 50 yards there after making the reception.
I mean, we're on pace for a pretty good game right here. Would that be 80? Oh, that'd be, wow. That'd be a lot more points than I had in my head.
Yeah. Well, you look at the way that Riverside has been scoring throughout the entire season. They have really lit up the scoreboard.
They could put up triple digits here. How would that be in the the state semifinal.
We don't have enough room on the scoreboard
No,
from what
we
I can
don't.
see. It's a little bit on the older side. As College of the Canyons takes the football down to about the 27-yard line.
He brings it out to the
Once again, it's Gilmore making the run back here for College of the Canyons.
That's where the College of the Canyon Cougars will take over to be first and 10.
First and 10 at about the 26, 27-yard line. Clock is stopped at 5:35. Riverside with that 23-7 lead. So let's see if Eden can generate something here offensively for College of the Canyons. As we mentioned, 2,700 yards on the season, so he can certainly get it done. He can also run out of that backfield with over 325 on the ground. Once again, going with a single set. Dunn is your ball carrier. To the 30. Stacked up right at about the 34-yard line. Actually wrestled down at about the 35 if they give him forward progression. Oh, a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Gilmore getting into it with one of their Riverside defenders. So pickup of about 8, almost 9 on the play.
8 on the play brings up a 2nd and 2 for the Cougars at the.
Well, he takes a shot. He just keeps moving. Look at those feet are still moving. And he's being lifted off the ground.
Dunn with 8 touchdowns on the season on the ground. Has a long of 52 yards, so he can certainly break it free if he's given the opportunity. Clock is rolling at 4:55 here in the first. The give is to Dunn. Once again, almost gets sliced right in the backfield.
Yes.
Man.
It looks like he fell right over the ankle of his lineman there, and the lineman's down.
We got somebody down on the turf. Appears to be number 66. Kadeem Diouf, offensive lineman, 6'6", 285, out of Elkton, Maryland, Eastern Christian Academy. So they're going to tend to him. Looks like he may have rolled an ankle or something.
Yeah, he is writhing in pain on the field there. Definitely not feeling good.
Not in the least bit. You know, we've talked about Tom Kraft, but Ted Iacenda, the head coach for College of the Canyons, he comes in with some pretty good credentials as well. We'll take a second look at this to see if we can maybe see how that injury. Dunn rolled up right on his leg. Ouch.
Yeah. And he's already got a knee brace on that knee, probably.
Oh,
he went straight for the knee.
That's what's so precarious for your offensive linemen. They just never know what's going on behind them most of the time. And it's so easy to get rolled up on, as we saw in that last play. But as we were taking note of Ted Iacenda, he's in his 7th year as head coach for College of the Canyons. He, too, really has some great credentials. When he first came into this program, he turned around this program, making them 8-3 in their very first year. Last year, they were 10-0.
That's right.
And they lost in the first round, so they feel like they have something they got to make up here in this particular season.
Yeah, they probably look at it that last year was a snake bite game. A lot of teams go through those. Sometimes they get them early in the year. In fact, RCC nearly had their snake bite to Long Beach City earlier this season. And I'll tell you, since that game, they have just been on a tear. Maybe that, those kind of games can wake you up, and they can wake you up even a year later. They could be bulletin board fodder for you to go into that next season.
College of the Canyons opened up the 2019 season with a loss to Saddleback by a score of 45-20. They beat Saddleback in the semifinal rounds of the playoffs by a score of 58-53. As we previously mentioned, they had a 32-point lead going into the fourth quarter and almost let it slip away.
And I'll tell you what, Chance Nolan, the quarterback of Saddleback, is being recruited by everybody. He came out of just down the road at Paloma Valley High School in Menifee area. Was one of the best quarterbacks I'd ever seen in the last 5 years. You and I cover so much high school sports. He was phenomenal, and I'll tell you, he's probably going to be in a Power 5 conference next year, starting at quarterback.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you. When you see his numbers and the way he plays football, he certainly has the credentials to get himself to a Division I school. 3rd down and 2. Clock is rolling at 4:20 here in the first. Canyons looking things over on the sidelines, trying to get a last-second signal what they want to do offensively, and we have whistles and stoppage, and looks like we're going to get a timeout. Yeah, I think Iacenda wants to take a timeout here for College of the Canyons. Initially, there might have been a flag, but that got taken up, and it will be a timeout charged here to College of the Canyons.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they've got to make it on this 3rd and 2. It could be tough. You don't go for it on 4th and 2 against this Riverside team. Like you said, every time they touch the ball, they seem to score somehow, some way. Being a safety, being a field goal, they just defensively, they can score at any given moment.
So the Cougars will regroup it here with a 3rd and 2. The clock has been stopped at 4:13. Eden is already looking around to see the scheme. Thankfully, no more rain at this point. Eden going to drop back. In trouble, getting chased out of the pocket. The ball is loose. Will that be a recovery or will it be a forward pass?
I believe they're going to give it to Riverside.
It looks like they will give it to Riverside as a fumble recovery. I know his arm might have been in motion. Let's take a second look at this for Eden. No, takes a pump fake. Ooh, not quite.
No, he lost off his back shoulder.
It. Yep. So it is a fumble recovery here for the Tigers. And just like that, Jeff, defensively once again, they rise to the top.
You call timeout to set something up. Like we just said, they can score from anywhere. And that's really a victory right there. When you can stop that, you're in the semifinals of the state. That's going to cause some major, major panic issues if you're the Cougars.
Ball is at the 19 of Canyons. Clock stopped at 4:04. Barledge, lone setback, has a man open, and just like that, touchdown Tigers. Looked like Anthony Rodriguez making the reception. You're tied in.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of him this season.
Not at all. So Anthony Rodriguez, a sophomore, 6'3", 240, out of Phoenix, Arizona. That is Rodriguez's first touchdown of the year.
Yes, I tell you what, you've got so many weapons.
Snap is down, kick is up, looks good, and it is. Chavez this time putting it through the uprights. And just like that, it's 30-7. Let's take another look at this fumble recovery. Was he in forward motion? I don't think so, Jeff.
No, I think that's a pretty good call. But that's a backbreaker. You're down 30-7 in the first quarter. You're on pace. Hey, you go into after the first quarter. Hey, they're on pace for 120 on you. You got to play some defense.
Let's give credit to number 94, Karo Kashkaran, defensive lineman, the freshman, 6'2", 250, who came up with that fumble here for Riverside. And man, just like that, 30-7 with 3:59 here in the first quarter. I don't think College of the Canyons was counting on this type of harsh play so quick. They're going to bring it out of the end zone. Gilmore looking to his left, going to get pushed out of bounds right at about the 25.
Yeah, he didn't look like he really wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
And decided at the last second, I think I got to run.
Brady Sheehan making the stop for the Tigers of Riverside.
39.
Boy, so what do you do at this point? If you're College of the Canyons, there's still plenty of time left, but man, you really got to buckle down here.
You pray for snow, for gosh sakes.
So
that's about all you can do. You're down 30. They're on pace for 120. Plus, there's still time in the first quarter. They could score again.
They can put up points. It's not that they can't. Their last 3 games have been pretty good on scoring fests. Against Long Beach, they lost by 32-24, but they did beat Bakersfield 24-7, as we mentioned, a 58-53 win last week. Catches made and pushed out of bounds.
Well, we could have 58 points before halftime the way this game is going.
No kidding. Alonzel Henderson making the reception here for College of the Canyons. Picks up about 3, maybe 4 on the play. Actually, they're going to call it 3, so it's 2nd down and 7. Clock continues to roll at 3:25. Eden looking downfield, way overthrows his receiver. Appears to have stumbled there. I believe it might have been intended. Try to get a number on that. Well, we have a flag down on the play. Well, they'll pick up close to a first down by virtue of a penalty here. I believe there was an encroachment.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
The referee's mic was out.
Give that ref some batteries.
Yeah.
Eden down the middle, catch is made, ball taken right to about midfield. Great reception on the play. Randy Clemens, your tight end out of Lancaster, making the catch.
So they call, looks like they said roughing the passer.
That's going to add another 15 to the march.
That's a giant play right
man.
there.
Well, this puts a little bit of life here in the College of the Canyons.
And that's been the Achilles heel for Riverside this year. They have so many penalties. They win by so much, but they still have so many penalties. They got to shore that up, especially going in for a state championship.
Play action by Eden. Going to take it out of the pocket. Has a little bit of daylight. Takes the football down to about the 26 where he's upended pretty handily by Zach Barola, the linebacker.
Yeah, you got to slide there. Don't get picked up and thrown down. That's WWE style.
Well, look at that. Zach was using him as kind of a tackle bag there. Watch this. Boom.
You don't leave your feet.
Ooh, not in the least bit. Zach made him pay for that one. Dunn, your ball carrier. To the 25. Takes it down to the 21-yard line, where he's finally brought down by Koshkaran. It'll be a first down here for the Cougars, so they're moving the chains here, Jeff.
Yeah, they're looking like they've got some life here. And I'll tell you, they've got to score.
They really do. I mean, this is kind of imperative that they come up with some points on the scoreboard here to try to keep pace here with the Tigers of Riverside. Clock continues to move at 2:04 here in the first.
Good thing is, Cougars get the ball here in the second half. If they can score here, they could make it a whole different ball game.
Staying on his feet and stacking up. Caden Dunn, your ball carrier. Maybe picks up. Yeah, he'll get 3, almost 4 on the play. So the ball inside of the 20-yard line, right at about the 18. Clock continues to roll at 1:25 here in the first.
It's chilly out here tonight.
It certainly is.
My lips are frozen.
This is an open tower we're sitting in. Dump off pass goes nowhere. I think it was intended for Dunn, but he was held up by a couple of Tigers. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 7 scenario here. Clock stopped at 1:13. Eden looking to the sidelines. They got to find a way to try to get this one into the end zone here, Jeff. Eden going to stop back, looking, catch nearly made as he was attempting to get it to number 9. Trevon Elliott, your wide receiver, just out of his grasp. So this will bring in the field goal opportunity here for College of the Canyons. Tanner Brown, your kicker, right at the right hash mark at the 25. So it'll be an attempt of 35 yards here for Brown. Nice snap, kick is up, nice leg, puts it up, and it's good. So, oh no, he missed it. Oh man.
Yeah, that's a tough one because you got Riverside with a minute left here, and we've seen what they can do. I'll tell you what, if they score here in a minute, it really puts the Cougars off
Obviously,
balance.
Our angle is a little tough to see. I thought it was good. He had enough leg on that, Jeff.
Oh, he had enough leg to hit the hospital on the hill. In fact, that's where it might have gone.
That's where it probably wound up.
If it went wide,
it's somewhere
right,
in the maternity ward right now or something.
Some kid has a football. They're going to name him Wilson or Spalding.
Tanner Brown is actually pretty good in terms of field goal attempts. He's 11 of 16, not too bad. 53 of 55 on the point after attempts. And so the Tigers will take things over. And we have some more changes for Riverside in the backfield. Now Jamon McGlory.
Great player out of Arlington High School. Last year, it was used a lot as a receiver, but I'll tell you, he is one of those go-to guys we've seen for the last 4+ years here in Riverside.
McGlory once again in the backfield, sending a man in motion. Barlage with the give to McGlory. Bit of daylight to the 40, 50, to the 30. Brought down right at about the 25-yard line. McGlory with a great run.
Well, I tell you, he is exciting to watch. Every bit of these running backs can do I mean, they just have something up their sleeve. It's like you have a tackle box and you're going out fly fishing. You pick the right fly, you can catch anything. And I'll tell you, Coach Kraft knows how to pick them.
And that'll bring an end to our first quarter of play, where it's 30-7, Riverside over College of the Canyons. We're going to send things down to Brian along the sidelines. Brian Wilson, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, yeah, thanks. So I was talking with one of the RCC coaches before the game, the offensive line coach. I said, man, your run game's really been going. Your offensive pull has really been going. What's been the secret there on the offensive line? He said, all these guys, they believe in each other, they trust each other, and their communication's been good. Look for that as this game winds down. Back to you guys in the booth.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian. And, yeah, the offensive line, Jeff, has just been pretty stout here for Riverside, especially when you're seeing the type of play we've seen so far in the first quarter.
Yeah, weight room. I'll tell you what, that's what it's weight room and double cheeseburgers got those guys stuff. I was just thinking this was the end of the second quarter. That's how
it's end of the first.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Man, just a domination. I was thinking, hey, they're going to get the ball in the second half, but, hey, we got a whole other quarter here.
Yeah, there's still plenty of football to be played here. With McGlory, he has already 50 yards on the first quarter alone.
Not a bad.
So it's interesting because he didn't even start this game.
No, you have so many backs. You have 3 guys with 20-plus yards. With the rushing game, that's pretty impressive. And Jacob Bartlett, 6 of 8 with 161 yards. Not bad first quarter.
Yeah, Thomas Kinslow with 27, Jalen Young with 20. It's amazing how Kraft loves to spread it around, and that's what you love to see about his offense.
Because he has so many weapons. There are guys you can't even scout you bring out there.
Exactly. So it'll be first down and 10. McGlory, once again, your ball carrier. He's wrestled down inside of the 20. So McGlory with another pickup. Adds some more yardage to that stat sheet. See Barlett's trying to hurry things up here. McGlory, once again, your ball carrier. Oh, slips on the turf. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that because of the wet situation, Jeff.
Turf monster got him on that one. Came right up there on the 20-yard line and yanked him down.
So once again, thankfully, it looks like for the most part there's no kind of rain happening right now. We'll take another look at McGlory trying to make the cut.
Yes, turf monster.
Ooh.
Grabbed him.
Yeah. Be a 3rd down and 4 scenario. Clock rolling here at 14:01 in the second quarter. Barlage, play action. Looking through the middle. Catch is made and looks like wrestled down. Ray Estes making the catch. Wind kind of picking up just a bit here as well.
I don't want wind. I don't want cold. I just want to be warm.
So it'll be a 1st and goal scenario here for Riverside. So let's see if they can start this second quarter play with some points on the scoreboard here, Jeff. McGlory gets the ball dumped out. Actually, it looks like we have a brand new receiver coming out of the backfield. This time it'll be number 28, Cameron Bowsley. So once again, Kraft going into that toolbox, picking out another running back.
And Cameron Bosley has been a starter for most of the year, but really, who is a starter? You had Mike Irwin, who started most of the year at quarterback, and you look at Barlage's numbers, that's only half the season, really, because they did a 2-quarterback system.
It's very easily that he could have been in the 3,000 yardage range, and once again, it's Bowley stacked up maybe for about a yard or so as the clock continues to move at 12:49.
Hey, look at that line. Look at 77 Brown. Do you know how big he is? Don't look at the stats. I want you to know he is 6'7", 400 pounds.
Oh, I think he's been to Burger King a couple times.
Yeah, I think he might be the Burger King.
McGlory on the carry, and is he in? Touchdown. Actually, that is Bowley making the touchdown. So once again, Kraft mixing things up with Bowley in the backfield. Just surges it right through the middle and in for the score.
Off those big, giant offensive linemen.
Yeah, Kevin Brown, my goodness.
That's a big man. That's WWE style
That is, if he doesn't make it in football, he's got a secondary career for sure.
He can do anything he wants.
Kick up on the way, looking good, and it is. So now that'll make it a 30-point lead here for Riverside, Jeff. Man, how do you start regrouping on something of that kind of a deficit?
I don't know how you can. In fact, if this were high school football, we'd almost be in running clock range right now.
Just about. We're still very early here in the second quarter of play. And you see the mix of running and running backs here for Riverside that have made things happen to put points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Bosley gets the brunt of it. But I'll tell you, they should have given it to McGlory, for gosh sakes. He did all the work. Then you bring in Bosley to do the cleanup work. But great run from the Tigers. Yeah, by the end of this game, we might be out of here by Tuesday.
That's very possible at this point. And looks like they will wisely let this one pass through the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, stop trying to return.
Yeah. At this point, I don't think you want to do anything funny out of the ordinary. You just want to stick to some sort of game plan.
Yeah, keep it on the ground. Get that clock going. Just turn. I don't know if you can throw against this secondary. The secondary, like I said, 5 turnovers last week, interceptions. And that could lead to more points.
Exactly.
And that's something you don't want right now as we just started the second quarter.
Yeah, that's amazing. Already a 30-point deficit here for College of the Canyons. Breeze once again beginning to kick up. And carry is being made by number 26.
Now, you and I have been on probably 20-plus games this year together. Have you seen anything this explosive? And this is college football in the state semifinal.
This is very explosive football. One of the things I think a lot of people don't realize, especially with community college football, you're seeing Division I players that for some reason or another did not get a scholarship offer, but yet have the ability to play at D1 level.
Oh, yeah, and you get a lot of Division I bounce backs as well. This is big-time football, and this is a display we haven't seen in a long time.
Exactly. Back to passes, Eden. And intended, looks like for number 84, Lennox Howard, as he stumbles on the turf. Sean Durso was your defender here for Riverside. But yeah, Jeff, when you look at the talent that's here in Southern California at the community college level, I mean, this is a lot like watching a D1 game. It really is. It
really, truly is. I tell you what, I put them against some of these Pac-12 schools we've seen this year.
We won't mention any names, USC, UCLA.
Yeah, let's just we'll put this the A squad. We'll move them over to UCLA or USC, either one.
Eden under some pressure and is hauled down for a loss. Alex Navarro Silva, your defensive lineman, a freshman from Don Lugo High School, making the stop and will stop College of the Canyons. Cold in her tracks here, Jeff.
Yeah, you got 6'5", 220 coming at you full speed right there. And,
man, look at that.
And hands like a vice grip, apparently. I mean, if you're the Cougars, you can't call timeout. You only have one left.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do at this point. Dorso is going to be back to receive this punt. Kind of an end over end. Dorso taking it right at about the 27-yard. Gets by a defender and is pushed out of bounds right at about the 43, 44-yard line. So a nice return by Dorso.
Yeah, his hesitation move really throws everybody off. He is just so darn quick. Right there, I mean, he just can stop on a dime.
Look at that. Even on a slippery
Yes.
field, he still has a great ability to cut. We got a flag down on the field, so that's going to negate that run by Dorso.
Yeah, when you get a block and a back penalty because you're just, the field is so open, that might be the only call you can get.
So unfortunately, that will negate a very good run back by Dorso. Stops the clock at 10:44.
Yeah, always on kick returns, punt returns, you're going to get those calls. It's like anytime you see a flag on the line, you assume it's hold. The same thing in special teams.
Elijah Bennett back in the backfield as he now goes in motion. So once again, Kraft making a change with his running backs. Down the middle, catch is made. I was bobbled there for a second. Reception on the play by Giovanni Sanders.
Yeah, he almost looked like it bobbled 2 or 3 times as we see here on the replay.
Yeah, I thought he had dropped it.
Yeah,
look at that concentration, man.
He caught that at his ankles.
Wow, great play by Sanders. Barlage getting chased out at the backfield, just wisely throws it away at that point.
You just got to love the poise of that young man, Barlage. I mean, remember, 2 years ago, I should say his junior campaign at Valley View was in the state championship, played for his dad, and his mom is a state champion in volleyball. Everybody in that house has a ring except for, I think, his younger sister doesn't have a ring, but I'm sure she'll get one soon.
Barlage facing now 2nd down 10, looking back at the sidelines for some last-minute instructions from Tom Kraft.
His dad was the offensive line coach here for a number of years with Kraft.
Barlage getting chased out, has a little bit of room to run if he wants to take it. And he'll get about 4 maybe on the carry.
Ah, that was a pretty good run from Barlage. He's become a dual threat all of a sudden.
Yeah. He actually does have 227 yards rushing on the year and 2 rushing touchdowns, so he's able to scramble out of the backfield if he needs to.
I tell you what, his 2 touchdowns I think we've seen. He gets right on the line. Right, I mean, if it's goal line stance, he has no problem getting in. He's a big man.
Clock continues to roll at 9:48. 3rd down and 7. Barlage will once again take another look to see what Kraft wants to do. Play action. Down the middle, the catch is made. Nice reception just right at about the 49-yard line. It is Isaiah Leith once again making the reception. He's such a big target, standing at 6'4", 205.
But look, I mean, he throws it between 4 defenders, right to him. Look at that. There are 4 guys in the vicinity.
Nice toss.
And throws a perfect strike.
Once again, Barlage back to pass. Catch once again made. Going back and forth and wrestled down. Your receiver is Dylan Laurent.
Had a nice chat with his dad before the game.
Yes, we did. Apparently, Dylan is being looked at by a couple of D1, or actually NAIA, with Western Kentucky, and also being looked at by Utah. So he's beginning to get some notices out by some pretty significant programs.
No, another one of those targets for Barlage.
2nd down and 7. Bennett once again in the backfield, and we got a miscue, which is very rare here for the Tigers.
Number 51 in the offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Actually, they do kind of get a few flags now and then.
Yeah, they do. But usually not from those big boys up front.
Yeah.
Usually it's from those mean defenders. Nice.
I remember way back in the day covering Mount San Antonio College football during their national championship season. They averaged 100 yards of penalties per game.
That's just meanness. That's just general.
And it was. It primarily came from the
what it is.
defense. It really did. It was primarily defensive flags throughout the entire game. He used to drive Coach Bill Fisk nuts. Toss out to the right. Catch is made. Reception once again being made by Leith.
On the coverage, number 30.
We'll bring up a 3rd down scenario here for Riverside. Barledge once again going to look things over to the sidelines. Clock's at 7:47. Play action, a little bit of trouble for Barledge, being chased back and will be hauled down right at about the 49-yard line.
That's a rare occurrence for him to get brought down.
That is kind of something you don't normally see here for Riverside. Benjamin Seymour, your defensive end, making the stop. Seymour out of Santa Clarita.
I want to say this might be the first time we've seen the punt team tonight.
You know, from a punting standpoint, Riverside does not punt a whole lot when you compare it to the rest of the teams in the league. In fact, by comparison, they are way below the average in terms of the number of punts per game.
That's right. In fact, I don't even think they punted against Golden West earlier this year.
Nice spiral kick. Will be taken right at about the 15. Some daylight to the 30, brought down at the 45-yard line. Nice run back on the play. Lennox Howard on the run back for College of the Canyons.
45-yard line. That's where the College of the Canyon Cougars will take over.
So Carson Reed making the stop, your punter.
And he kind of just threw his body into the other guys. Said, hey.
Carson's out of East Anchorage, Alaska, so this is like spring weather for him. This is nothing to him.
Yeah, this is shorts weather.
Yeah. Bring out the
This
flip-flops.
might be Speedo weather.
Bring out the flip-flops, man. Reverse play. First down, pick up for College of the Canyons with Caden Dunn on the run.
I'll tell you
Ball's
what,
right at the 41. Pardon me, Jeff.
I'm thinking about setting up a shanty. We could do some ice fishing out here later on.
Just
as
about.
cold as it is.
Yeah, we'll find something to cast a line into. Another reverse. Actually looks like almost a trick play, and it's almost intercepted. Oh, man. Jalen Brown, excuse me.
Yeah, that was too easy.
Yeah, Jalen Bowens. Almost had the interception. Interesting play here by College of the Canyons. They're trying to get into the bag of tricks with Trevon Elliott making the toss.
We're going to see the Statue of Liberty next, JR. I tell you, I've been waiting to see it for years. I haven't seen it anywhere except for on my street when my kids play touch football.
Actually, Boise State pulled it off last week. They did a very effective one last weekend. Oh, Dunn, excuse me. Ed gets chased nearly out of bounds, almost loses the football, but luckily for Canyons, it goes out of bounds. Going to be a loss of about 3 on the play. Now they call it a loss of 2.
Yeah, Boise does run a lot of those trick plays. We've seen them over the years. There's been some great ones. The blue turf throws everyone off, though.
That Smurf turf really gets everybody in some heebie-jeebies, man. They'll be hosting their conference championship game next weekend against Hawaii. That'll be tough for Hawaii to go into such a cold territory. Eden. Reception is made right to about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Hawaii's got 2 running backs from the Inland Empire, Miles Reed from Centennial and Freddie Holly of Norte Vista, both the running backs for the University of Hawaii.
Great representation by the Empire.
In fact, the quarterback at Boise State's from Marietta Valley.
Wow. Oh, that's right. Hank Bachmeyer is from nearby.
Bachmeyer.
Yes. 4th and 4. They're going to go for it. Ed chased out of the backfield, and he'll be squashed for a loss of about 1, and it'll be a turnover on downs here for Riverside. James Hansen looks like he was one of the defenders there on the play for Riverside. So just like that, the Tigers will take over with a 1st down and 10. The clock is stopped at 5:18, and they maintain their 30-point advantage over College of the Canyons at this point. Barledge on the give, right up the middle. Still on his feet. And once again, it is Elijah Bennett who moves the chains. First and 10. Ball's at the 46-yard line, and Bennett, once again, your ball carrier, actually take that back. Looks like we got another change in the backfield here. Looks like we got Jalen Young.
Hey, it's Championship Saturday here in Riverside. Got Riverside Ramona playing in the Southern Section CIF Championship, Division 13. And you got RCC, so City of Champions tonight.
That's a great way for Riverside to celebrate such great football as Bennett, once again, your ball carrier. Excuse me, that's Young, your ball carrier. Trying to go for the football there, but Tyler Richardson not coming up with any kind of fumble there.
And talking about Ramona, though, finishing third place in the River Valley League and then playing for a CIF championship. That's a great story.
Their last two games, as we saw, were just tremendous. And you got to hand it to Coach Mashinsky, who has really brought this team alive here in the playoffs.
He invited me today, and I went and had the team meal, and he asked me to speak to the guys. I said, I don't know what the heck I'm going to offer to you, but I had a chance to meet with the team beforehand. If they lose, they can blame me.
You are an alumnus of Ramona High School, so I think it's quite apt that you did the inspirational speech for the Rams tonight. Barledge on the carry. Looks like he'll pick up the first down.
Lost his helmet, too.
Ooh, will that mean he'll have to come off the field momentarily? Shows you what a tough guy he is, man.
Got a good haircut.
Yeah,
You never get to see him without his helmet on.
Check this out now. This will bring in Tyler Thomas.
Tyler Thomas, Mr. Electric. I'll tell you what, watch this guy. He's come out of nowhere. He is just a running back that can throw the football.
So let's see what Thomas can do. He's going to keep it. Kraft calls his number, but he's going to get pushed out of bounds. Maybe a loss of 2 or 3 on the play. So Tyler's debut not so good.
And relatively new to football, too. Only played in a couple years, but we've seen him a few times this season. I mean, he makes the entire crowd go nuts because if he gets a breakaway, nobody's going to catch him.
Barledge is back in the game now. So Thomas just for one play, loses 2, unfortunately. So brings up 2nd down and 12. Play action by Barledge. Has a man open. Can't get it to him. Looks to his left and underthrows his intended receiver.
That's right. Didn't see his progression there. Wide open on the first play, but bodies everywhere. Cougars everywhere around him, I should say.
So we'll bring up a 3rd down and 12. Clock stopped at 2:48. We'll take a second look at this one, Jeff.
Yeah, missed that progression. Didn't actually see it.
Retzlaff, your intended receiver, just short of his grip. So a 3rd and 12 scenario for the Tigers. Barledge once again looking to the end zone with a man open, and it is touchdown Tigers. Giovanni Sanders making the grab.
And why not? I mean, they just stopped before the goal line. Didn't even tackle him. Just said, you're in.
Slightly underthrew him, but nonetheless, Sanders comes up with the snatch and another 6 points here for the Tigers.
Hey, we have 30-plus minutes here of football left there, JR.
Wow. Let's do the song and dance routine here from what we're seeing so far.
Oh, man alive.
I did not expect this. I really did expect Canyon to be a little bit more challenging in this one. Now with a 44-7 lead here for Riverside. But you know what? It's not surprising to see how many points Riverside can generate in a ball game.
I mean, they just do it on the ground. They do it in the air. They do it defensively. They just seem to be playing their best football at the right time of year. They're down a couple key players, too, and still everybody steps up, and it's addition by subtraction. I tell you, this ball club is I happened to see this national championship team 30 years ago, and 30-year bookend national championships would be great. Be nice to see Coach Kraft get that state championship, national championship. But wow, what a dynamic team! A lot different football than I remember 30 years ago, to say.
Well, there's a lot formulating here between Riverside and College of the Canyons, and I mean, the way it looks now, if it continues on, they will very likely face San Mateo. We still got a lot of football left here in this game, but nonetheless, it's still looking pretty favorable for Riverside.
And San Mateo won 41-0.
41-0. They really manhandled Modesto this afternoon. I was watching a little bit of the game online. It was cold and rainy up there as well. In fact, it was rainy through the entire game, so it was really kind of sloppy, unfortunately.
Well, it's been pretty nice here, just chilly. Like I said, if I could call the game from my living room, sitting in front of my my fireplace and my slippers, man, my feet are cold, my hands are numb, my eyes are freezing.
Consider the fact that Wheelock Stadium, this building, from what I understand, is one of the oldest on campus.
It might be the oldest in all of Riverside.
Yeah, from what I understand, Wheelock Stadium was first constructed in 1921.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Hoffa could be somewhere under here somewhere. Not Giant Stadium, could be at RCC.
Very possible.
I threw in a Jimmy Hoffa reference.
Hoffa could be around here someplace. Yep. Second down and 10. Clock stopped at 2:14. Eden looking for somebody to toss it off to ingest out of the reach of his intended receiver. That was Alonzel Henderson doing a slant along the sidelines and just not able to get a grasp on it. Third down and 10. And I'm sure the frustrating is really beginning to mount here for the Cougars.
Well, now I can say this because I thought it was at the end of the first quarter. Well, the Cougars will get the ball in the second half.
Yeah. Wow, big advantage here. Eden tosses it over to his intended receiver,
which
and
is
unfortunately just out of the reach of Romello Cook.
And not good news if you are the Cougars, because the Tigers are going to get the ball in pretty good territory.
Man. And you know they can do something in 2 minutes.
They can do something in about 12 seconds.
That's
for God's
true.
sake. They could have the ball 2 or 3 more times in the next 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Oh, man.
And they're going to have good field position. They're going to score. They're going to be up. They could put up 50 points in a half.
Well, it is a team that has averaged about 49 points per game, so this is not surprising.
Averaging 49 in the first half.
Yeah. Fair catch is made right at about the 36-37 yard line. Dorso making the catch, but we do have a flag down on the field.
I was a little disappointed we couldn't see Dorso run. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's really good on the punt returns. And let's see what the call is. Holding. Oh, okay.
I think he really should just turn off his mic.
Yeah, I think at this point. So this will set the football back right at about the 28-yard line.
You know, I called a game one time, JR. I called a high school football game. It was 108-20.
Oh, gosh.
I think I was the only
Was that
person.
Bloomington High School?
Yes, it was.
I'm not surprised.
It was Bloomington versus Harupa Valley.
I am not surprised. Oh, man.
Yeah, Don Markham.
Oh, but what a legend.
Yes.
Coach Markham, who just recently passed away, a year or two ago?
Yeah, he was my high school football coach.
Is that right?
Yeah, at Ramona.
Wow.
That was the last championship 30 years ago that the Rams won.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So,
first down here for the Tigers. They're trying to make some things happen, Jeff, before they get into the locker rooms. Oh, bobbled catch. Almost made by Dylan Laurent. Second and 10. Clock stopped at 1:38. Ball's right at about the 44 of the Tigers. Tigers are still trying to make things happen here before the clock expires. Endzone trouble, and Barledge wisely throws it out amongst the cheerleaders. Almost beamed a couple.
I think she might have caught it. That was a one-handed catch by the cheerleader.
Well, there's about 1,500 of them along the sidelines there, so.
Well, you know, but the good thing about them is that they're all wearing sweats today. You know, if I had a daughter, I'd be concerned. If
Absolutely.
Man, but they're warmer than I am, for gosh sake. You and I are hairless up top, and my head is frozen.
It is a bit chilly out here, as Barledge will check things over against the sidelines here. You see the clock stopped at 1:31. Barledge down the center portion of the field will be close to a first down pickup. And I think that will move the chains,
Yes,
man.
it did.
Oh, my gosh. Just when you think they're going to get backed up, Armstrong Johnson comes up with a reception and the first down pickup. Great reception. So first down and 10. Ball's right inside of the 45-44. Well, had a false start, though.
Did you say Armstrong Johnson?
Let's see
believe you
here.
did.
Yes,
Yeah,
Armstrong Johnson.
You know what I always say? 2 last names. Can't trust him.
Oh, there you go.
Can't trust him.
Yep.
I like him.
He's
Can't trust him, though.
He's a freshman out of Miramar, Florida.
All right. His parents won't hear me say that. Well, they might. They're probably watching on Riverside TV.
That's true.
So.
We welcome aboard there. Hopefully, you folks there from Florida are watching us.
Yeah.
From sunny Southern California. Reception made by Kinslow. Excuse me, Dylan Lawrence, your receiver. Jamon McGlory back in the backfield here for the Tigers. Whistle on the play, and let's see if there's a stoppage or was there a timeout called.
I believe it was a...
I don't see a flag on the ground. Yeah, we do have a false start. It's getting so cold they can't even reach in their pockets for an handkerchief.
No. It's frozen to their butt.
Oh, they're using it to wipe their nose because I know I could use one right now.
Man. This finally feels like fall football.
Yeah, I think so. Barledge has a man open, catch is made. McGlory with a reception takes it inside of the 30 right to about the 28-yard line. Tigers in hurry-up mode as the clock stops at 39 seconds.
They've got 3 timeouts, and why not use them and try to score?
Kraft wants to get another 6 on the score, another 7 on the scoreboard here, and why not?
Yeah, get this game out of reach early. Make it over by halftime. Play the guys that don't get to play very much. Get them going so, hey, everybody comes out of here healthy, happy, and raring to go next week.
Nice play
Or 2
action.
weeks.
Yeah, to McGlory. You've seen some nice playing time tonight.
Hey, last year you were at the Festival of Lights. Are you gonna bring your lovely wife and come down to the Festival of Lights?
Absolutely. I was telling her about it. I said I'll probably pass by on the way home tonight and take a sneak peek at it, but we'll come out and enjoy it maybe sometime next weekend or so. I mean, it is a great time and a great location to bring out the family, the grandma, grandpa, everybody. Everybody will love that.
I had the wife and kids there last night. We were right underneath the fireworks. My 3-year-old thought he was going to get hit by something. I said, "No, you're okay. You're okay."
Okay, let's see what happens here with 39 seconds left before the half ends. McGlory once again in the backfield. Give is to McGlory. He'll pick up maybe a couple of yards on the play. Clock continues to move at just under 30. Tigers trying to make things happen here on the hurry-up. Play action. Barledge tries once again to get it to McGlory coming out of the backfield, but it a little bit too low on the field to get his grasp.
Yeah, Coach Kraft didn't look too happy on that play. Took his hat off.
Stops the clock at 16.
Coach, he's got to put that. I'm glad he put his hat back on.
It's a little too cold to go hatless tonight.
It's a little chilly.
Barledge going to look it over once again. Getting signals from the sideline. You see about 3 different coaches.
They look like Larry, Curly, and Mo.
There you go. Barledge being backed up once again, tosses it into the turf. McGlory, the intended receiver, stops the clock at 12.
That's a couple times in a row we've seen Barledge, throwing on his heels. That's something we're not used to seeing.
Yeah, it looks like Carson Reed's now going to come in and attempt 3 points here for the Tigers.
So if he just makes it a 40-point game.
That's all. That's it. So it'll be a 42-yard attempt here. Snap down, looks good. Kick is on the way. And it's good. So with 7 seconds remaining in the first half, it is now a 40-point lead here for Riverside City College. And boy, Jeff, when you are the Cougars of College of the Canyons, what the heck do you say when you go into the locker rooms here?
Well, if I was the coach, I would say, you see those buses over there? Let's run on those buses. We'll have them turn the lights out, and let's sneak out of here because, I mean, what can you do? But, I mean, you've already kind of conceded. Now you just got to tell you guys, you got to play hard, and you got to realize and maybe learn from this loss because it is, I don't see how they can put up 40 here in the second half against this great defense. Maybe you say, hey, look, we're going to get a minor victory, maybe win the second half.
It's a tough task to come up with.
Right.
Not out of the question, but it is a tough task.
And they haven't turned the ball over that much. It hasn't been bad football.
Mm-hmm. It's just Riverside's been so dominant.
Yeah.
A little bit of a squib kick, puts it on the turf. Ball's being taken up right at about the 19-yard line. Still on his feet. Nice, decent run back here, and that will end the half. That was Aaron Pitts on the run back here for the Cougars of College of the Canyons. So Jeff, a 40-point lead going into the locker room. I'm sure Tom Kraft does not want to hold up from even getting any less points than that. I'm sure he wants to put more on the scoreboard.
Of course he does. He wants his guys playing at their peak. He's probably going to play as starters for another quarter. But man, what a phenomenal first half we've seen.
Let's send it down to the sidelines for a report here.
Hey guys, thanks. Yeah, really strong first half from RCC. Offense really got going, got a lot of people involved. Something to look at here in the second half. We'll see how Coach Kraft wants to play his quarterback situation. He's got 3 really exceptional quarterbacks in Barledge, Thomas, and Irwin. Normally he's been having Thomas going in the backup, but he does have Mike Irwin available. We'll see how he plays it as this game rolls on. Back to you guys.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian Wilson, for your coverage along the sidelines. And you kind of wonder, you think he might make a change in the second half?
I don't know if you do it right away, but I do think that we're going to see Irwin if he's healthy, and we'll definitely see Thomas as well to close out this ball game probably.
Hey, as we head into halftime, I just wanted to give a kind of a tribute and shout out to 2 people who I think were very instrumental in local sports. One here locally in Southern California, that first being Louis Brewster of the Inland Valley Daily Bulletin. He was the longtime reporter and sports editor who passed away, unfortunately, this past Monday at the age of 70. I had a brief opportunity to work with him at the Inland Valley Daily Bulletin, and man, this guy knew everybody from the junior varsity volleyball player all the way to the big names of John Forrest and Richard Petty and all those people. Louis Brewster, he's from Texas, spent a lot of time in Fontana. In fact, a graduate of Fontana High School, I know was a very close friend of Coach Dick Bruick, and I know he's going to be sorely missed after his loss, and we just send our love, prayer, and sympathy to his family. Also, John McKissick. It's a name you may not know, but this man was the winningest football coach in all of American football history, with 621 victories in South Carolina Summerville High School, coaching for 62 years. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just an incredible stat. I mean, 621 wins is just – I asked you, I said, did he coach 100 years? No, just 62. But, wow, what a great tribute. And for us to talk about a coach that far away has done so well for the sport of football.
He passed away peacefully, surrounded by his family and loved ones this past Thursday on Thanksgiving Day, so our heartfelt condolences to his family. But we thank those 2 men for what they brought to local football. We'll be back with the second half right after this here on Riverside TV.
The Community Police Review Commission was created to promote public confidence in the professionalism and accountability of the City of Riverside's Police Department. The commission consists of an all-civilian panel of members from across the city. The commission's roles include advising the mayor and city council on all police relations issues, reviewing and investigating officer-involved deaths, receiving complaints, and conducting hearings on misconduct against sworn Riverside police officers, making policy suggestions, and bringing community concerns to the attention of the Riverside Police Department. If you're interested in learning more about how you can serve or for information on the commission, visit riversideca.gov/CPRC.
Here in California, citrus is a part of our lives every day. But what if it all just disappeared? A devastating plant disease called Huanglongbing, or HLB, spread by the Asian citrus psyllid, is fatal for citrus trees, and it might be found in your own backyard. That's why it's important that we all do our part to keep California's citrus safe. Don't let California citrus disappear. Visit CaliforniaCitrusThreat.org to learn more.
Got junk too big for the trash can? Then call 311 to schedule a bulky item pickup. Riverside residents get 2 free pickups a year, but you gotta follow 3 simple rules. Bulky items must be curbside by 5:30 a.m. the day of your pickup, light enough for 2 people to lift, and the total volume can't be larger than 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. If you got a lot of junk, check out our bulky item and e-waste drop-off events held several times each year. Bulky item pickup. Call us today and we'll haul it away.
Police officer pilot. I've been with the city for a little over 10 years. I've always loved aviation and I've always loved law enforcement, so to be able to combine the two together, two of the things that I love the most. I've got experience in a background in law enforcement, so to couple that with aviation and fly every day and still do police work, that's why I'm out here. Work day shift 7 to 5. I usually get here a little before 7. We'll get an email on what occurred the previous evening, so I'll go through those. I'll also check temporary flight restrictions, so I'll check those and see if there's any in the area that we can't fly into. And then we'll go out and do a pre-flight on the helicopter. We'll walk around, check everything, make sure everything's functioning properly. And sometimes we're up for patrol. Other times when we're here on the ground, we'll respond to an incident. If a vehicle pursuit or a foot pursuit or something goes out, we'll launch for that. If there's a fire in the river bottom, we'll go up and provide air support for the firemen on the ground. Code enforcement uses us for their green pool flights, so we'll go up and we'll look for green pools. We're assisting a lot of different departments. I'm a 4th generation Riverside resident out of 5 generations now. My family has set roots here back in the 1900s, and I've got a connection to Riverside, so family and friends are here, and it's nice to give back to a community that you've been brought up in. So, if I were to describe my job in 2 words, it would be uniquely awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I get to fly a helicopter and do something that I really enjoy doing. At the same time, protecting and serving a community that I grew up in. So.
Los Novios is a Mexican market located on Main Street, not far from downtown Riverside. The name means young male bull, which is typically used for its high-quality meat. Alberto Murillo is the owner.
Been in the business for years and years, almost 20 years in the city of Riverside. And always, since I started working, I always dreamed like one day I'll have my own business. And since I'm being in Riverside for so many years, I said, well, this is a good opportunity. So I asked a couple friends, and my brother, hey, this is the opportunity of our life. Do we take it or not? And they're like, yes, go for it.
The store features a good selection of fruits, vegetables, canned goods, meats, and seafood. There's also several kinds of cheese, salsa, and guacamole. Loyal customers who shop here say it's because of their fresh food and great customer service.
I hike at Mount Rubidoux, and I go here every morning to buy fresh ceviche. It's a great market, and they're just gonna get bigger and better, so come shop here.
Usually I'll come in here to buy lunch, but if I need anything for my house, any supplemental groceries, I come in here and I buy everything. Everything's fresh.
Alberto says he trains his staff to treat customers like family. Mercedes Duran is one of his cashiers.
just asking with how are you doing, that makes a really big difference. And just being in a small market, you kind of notice who's who and what are they doing. Sometimes we'll even ask them, like, what are you cooking today? Are you doing spaghetti? Are you doing carne asada? Or, you know, that makes a difference, yeah.
I wanted the people, when they came, I wanted to feel like welcome, like, oh, this is my house, you know, like this is family. And that's what I wanted to tell all my customers, that they're not just customers, they're guests for me. You know, they're guests, they're my guests, they're my family all the time. When they came, if I know their names, I tell them about their names and everything. I shake hands all day long, and I think they like it.
My name's Lovey Jung, and I work for the City of Riverside Fire Department. I've been here for about 7 years now, and I'm a firefighter paramedic on Engine 1. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a firefighter, but I ended up getting sidetracked and went and played softball for the Olympic team in 2004 and 2008, and when I retired in 2009, that's when I decided I wanted to switch over to become a firefighter. Usually when I come in, the first thing I do is I check my personal protective equipment, and then I'll also check the medical equipment. Being a paramedic, I have to make sure all my medications are there and that my equipment's working properly, so that when we go on a scene to a medical aid, that everything's in working form and that we're professional on scene. If I were to describe my job in one word, it would be adventurous. Every day is different from day to day, depending on the training or the type of calls that we run. You know, some days we might go on more DUIs, or some days we might go on more traffic accidents. So every day that I come to work is going to be completely different from the day before and the next day. I get to work with a group of people that I enjoy working with and having that camaraderie that I missed from being an athlete. But now, being a mom, I want to be that role model for my daughter to, show her you can be independent and you can have a job that you want to work in, whether it's a male-dominated career or not. And I want her to understand that as she grows up.
We need to make sure our seniors are safe with consistent, proper nutrition and healthy foods delivered to their homes.
Elderly patients who do not have proper nutrition have a higher risk of irregular heart rhythms and sepsis.
Riverside's Meals on Wheels program can always use your help. If you can volunteer or donate, you can visit our website and get more information how you can participate, and we thank you.
Do you have unneeded prescription medications and don't know what to do with them? CVS Pharmacy and the Riverside Police Department have a safe and secure drop box located inside the Magnolia Police Station. This free and anonymous service keeps dangerous prescriptions out of the hands of children and abusers while protecting the environment through proper disposal. Most over-the-counter and prescription medications are safe to drop off. However, there are some restrictions. Items such as thermometers, inhalers, aerosol cans, ointments, lotions or liquids, and needles and sharps must be disposed of elsewhere. And please, residential clients only. This service is not for businesses to dispose of their medical waste. Help the City of Riverside keep dangerous prescriptions out of the hands of children and abusers by disposing your unneeded drugs in a safe, secure, and environmentally friendly way. You might have noticed new traffic lights popping up around Riverside, and the Public Works Department wants you to see how they work. First of all, you'll notice the new left turn signals consist of 4 lights: a red arrow, a solid yellow arrow, a flashing yellow arrow, and a green arrow. So how does traffic flow work with these new signals? First, we have the left green arrow, which indicates you have permission to turn left, but oncoming traffic must stop. A solid yellow arrow indicates that the light is about to turn red, and you must be prepared to stop, or if you're already in the intersection, complete your turn when safe. A solid red arrow means you must stop. No left-hand turns are allowed. When the signal changes to a flashing yellow arrow, turns are still permitted. However, you must yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians before proceeding with your turn. These new signals are being introduced nationwide and represent a safer and more efficient way to handle left-turn traffic at busy intersections. The City of Riverside encourages you to learn more about these new traffic signals, and if you have questions, call 311, Riverside's one-stop shop for answers. The City of Riverside has launched Riverside Alert, a mass notification service that allows emergency crews to alert you in the case of an emergency, potential hazard, or safety concern that may directly affect you. When you sign up, you'll receive a message on the voice or text communication method of your choosing. Here's how it works. Begin by creating an account on riversidealert.com. Once you've entered your information, you'll be listed to receive alerts. All information you provide will be kept strictly confidential. Riverside Alert allows you to confirm that you've received an alert to prevent the same alert from coming through again. You can also choose to receive notifications about events that may affect you or your loved one's workplace, home, school, and more. Go to riversidealert.com and sign up today.
And we are back to Wheelock Stadium as we take a look at some of the first half highlights. And boy, they were pretty big here for Riverside City College, starting things right off the bat with this long touchdown pass that went from Barledge to Isaiah Leith. Another one going in on the running game with Jalen Young.
The lone touchdown.
Yeah, been the lone touchdown here for College of the Canyons. Barledge had a tremendous first half along with Leith, as you see him here on this reception. He'll take it to the house for another score for Riverside. And Armani Annan having some troubles all evening long, man. He's had so much pressure tonight that it has really made a difference in trying to get anything generated offensively. Nice little toss here for another score for Riverside. This time, reception made by Anthony Rodriguez on that. And Barledge going long once again in for the score. That catch being made by Giovanni Sanders. So there's a look at some of the first half stats. First down 16, and look at the passing yards by Barledge. 300 on the night. 138 yards on the ground, and look at the yardage there for College of the Canyons. 106, 17 rushes for 1 net yard. So it just has been a really defensive, great stand here for Riverside.
And really what surprised me the most is that time of possession. Riverside normally not holding the ball very long. They had it for 17 minutes and 52 seconds of that first half. And I'll tell you what, you put up 47 points, 300 rushing yards, and 300 passing yards. Jacob Bartlett had himself a good game, not a good first half, a great game.
Astounding. You know, the last 3 previous games, Bartlett has been at 300 plus for the last 3 games coming into tonight's ball game. He's already at 300, as we mentioned, and he's probably on track to maybe go to 400 by the end of the game.
He could go to 400 by the end of the first minute here of the third quarter. I'll tell you, the way this team is playing, I mean, they're playing on all, as they say, the space station is fully operational, and right now this Riverside team looks unstoppable.
Isaiah Leith, 4 receptions, 152 yards, has 2 TDs with a long of 71 yards on the catch. But when you look on the flip side, Armani Eden, not too bad of a night, 4 of 12 for 93 yards, 1 touchdown, but he's been sacked a couple of times, so he's been under a lot of pressure defensively.
Yeah, I mean, this Tiger defense is so fast. Like I said, they're so fast on the outside, they funnel everything to the middle. And that's where the problem starts, because you get through that middle, you have that giant, fast, tough linemen that are mean, lean, and ready to just take you down. Man, this Riverside team on both sides of the football, you talk about the scoring of what's more impressive, the 47 points or holding a team in the semifinal to 7 last week, shutting out an opponent in the playoffs. They're playing the best football of anybody I've ever seen.
Yes, defensively, Alex Navarro Silva has 2 sacks already on the night, so he's really making his mark defensively here for the Tigers of Riverside. So the Cougars of College Canyon will receive this kickoff and try to make something happen. Boy, it's one of those situations where you really have to score in this first series, Jeff.
If you don't, I'll tell you what, you're just going to look in the rearview mirror and just try to get out of here unscathed, unhurt, and just know that you don't want to get 90-plus put on you here, which could possibly happen.
That's not out of the question. So Gilmore is once again back to receive. And Gilmore will grab it. Nope, a little bit of a bobble between the 2 receivers, and they're going to bring it out of the backfield, probably to be snatched right at about the 4 or 5 yard line. Wow.
A bad start for the Cougars.
Not the way you want to start off a second half of game when you're trailing by 40 points. So 1st and 10, ball's going to be spotted right at about inside of that 5 yard line marker. Seems like it is getting a little bit more chillier out here. Wind's beginning to kick up a little bit more. Thankfully, the rain has been gone through most of that first half. I think it dissipated right at about 30 minutes into that first hour of play.
I'm telling you, I'm worried about snow, for God's sakes.
That's very possible at this point. So you got a 5-man spread. Eden quickly tries to toss it and almost intercepted. Oh, man, that would have been disastrous.
Yeah, Jalen Bowens. It's the second time tonight he's dropped a football that's been right in his hands. In fact, he's like, I could have had 2 tonight.
That was surprising. I'm sure it just completely caught Jalen right off guard. That ball was right there within his grasp. So 2nd down and 10. Eden with a single set. Dunn is there in the backfield along with him. And he gives to Dunn. He's going to get wrapped up for a loss of maybe 2. I don't know if they're going to give him any kind of forward progress at all. It takes the ball right to about the 1.5, depending on where he gets the spot.
The referee had some problems holding that ball. We had our video guys, our cameraman right there on it. The white hat definitely was didn't have good hands. His hands are frozen, though, so you got to give him credit.
3rd down and 9. Eden in trouble, loses the ball, and it is recovered for a touchdown. Kobe Fitzgerald makes the hit, comes up with a rock, and comes up with 6 points.
Well, I don't think the Cougars wanted to start off that way.
Look at that. Kobe Fitzgerald almost untouched as he gets into the backfield, just kind of swats it away from Eden. picks it up, and just like that, the Tigers are on the board. Well, not a good start to the second half here for the Cougars.
The good news is the Cougars get the ball again. Bad news is they got to play against that defense.
Exactly. Kick up on the way, looks good, and it is. So just like that at 14, just less than a minute into the second half, Ricardo Chavez gives us the extra point, and it is now a 54-7 lead here by Riverside.
Yeah, it's like a video game score right now.
Yeah, just about. Well, when you look at the last three games here for Riverside, I mean, looking back to the November 9th game against Orange Coast, they had a 76-3 victory there.
Yes, they did.
56-25 against Saddleback, and then last week that trouncing of Mount San Antonio by 48-0.
That's a pretty good few weeks there.
Man. Like you said earlier, Jeff, they are playing perfect football at the right time of the year.
I mean, like I said, a couple guys. Tyler Kennedy's not playing. I think the best JC football player I've ever seen. He's not even playing in this game.
So Canyons will take it on the run back.
Ball taken there by Mercury, brings it out to the
Lennox Howard on the run back.
ball spotted at the 24-yard.
We'll be at the 24, and let's see if College of the Canyons can kind of regroup here. The Cougars really need a score on this series. They really do. I mean, the deficit is so big now, you got to make something happen.
Yeah, and do you throw the ball or do you just keep it on the ground and chew clock up? Because you're not getting first downs either way. You might as well pick your poison.
Give is to Dunn. Going to go to his left. Evades a couple of defenders. We'll pick up about 7 yards, maybe 8 on the carry. So nice run by Dunn. Caden Dunn, as we previously mentioned, about 6 yards per carry, 670 total on the year with 8 touchdowns. So he's very capable as a running back as the clock continues to move at 3:42 here in the third. So we're going to call it 2nd and 2. Dump out into the flat, and ball is taken right to about the 40-yard line. Reception on the play by Henderson, Alonzel Henderson. 888 yards on the season, who's been a very capable receiver. 8 touchdowns. Averages about 80 yards per game, but just not having a very good night so far. It is 1st down and 10. Ball's right at about the 40-yard line. Looking down long. And just out of the grasp of Lennox Howard.
I'll tell you, they've not been able to get anything against this Tiger secondary. It's just, they're all over the place.
So the Cougars have pretty much, just like Riverside, been in a no-huddle mode. That's just kind of the mode of operation offensively here, both of these squads. I don't know if they're going to try to pick up the tempo a little bit. Eden in trouble once again, gets wrapped up for a loss.
Yeah, I think this is where you let your play clock go down to the last couple of seconds. You take the 25 or the 35 seconds every single time.
So that'll take about an extra 5 yards off of that. Lemo Unga. Did I say that right?
He sounded pretty darn good to me.
Wow, from Vista Murrieta making the tackle on that. If I got it wrong, then I apologize. Looking down long, picked off right at midfield. And taken down to about the 32-yard line. Making the pick is Zach Parola, who's had a pretty good game so far. So Zach just adds some more elements defensively here for Riverside and comes up with the interception.
Wow, a great vertical jump there, like he was going up for a jump ball.
Wow.
Young man out of Redlands High School.
Zach Parola already has 3 tackles coming into the second half, so he's already had the most tackles, and it looks like we've had ourselves a flag against Riverside.
Maybe they just want to start from further out. It's too easy to score that close. Oh, a celebration.
Oh, there was an unsportsmanlike conduct call. I'm sure Coach Kraft ain't going to be happy with that one.
So it depends on what they do on this next play.
So ball's at the 48. First down and 10. Clock stopped at 12:17. And Barledge still in the game. Another running back change, though. We have Cameron Bowsley back in the backfield here for the Tigers. He goes in motion to the left. Barledge looking down the middle. Catch is made. And scampering around for that first down marker. Oh, boy. Dylan Laurent.
Boy,
coming up with a reception.
He was all over the place. Looked like he was on ice skates.
He really kind of had that first down to begin with. He decided to back up a couple of yards.
I'm just going to run all over the place.
So we'll call it 2nd down and 1. So pick up with 9 on the reception by Dylan. Clock's moving. 11:35 in the third. Play action by Barledge. Looking down and picked off. Barledge throws a pick. That's pretty rare. Only his 5th of the year. Madison Wheeler, the safety, comes up with the interception. So Barledge, not sure what he was looking at here, Jeff.
Yeah, it's just a rare mistake. I think, his progressions.
Wow.
He looked at the first one and just maybe a miscommunication because there wasn't anybody near there.
Looks like Rolandus Whitener was the intended receiver.
They're going to Coach Kraft calling timeout.
So a very rare miscue here by Barledge, and it looks like Kraft wants to he's gathering the whole squad together and is probably going to tell everybody just, hey, let's settle down. We've got a sizable lead. Let's keep our foot in the accelerator here and let's just keep it moving.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to get. I mean, he has everybody together.
Yeah.
Offense and defense.
Yeah. He's obviously wanting everybody to stay focused at this point in spite of the fact that they have this huge lead.
And this Tiger machine, we watched them in warm-ups. I mean, they just seemed on pace, all together in everything they did. I mean, they were yelling and screaming together before the game. It looked like it was in unison. I mean, even if you are just unorganized and you look organized, you got to be doing something correctly.
Right. So Coach Kraft rallying the troops as Canyons with a 1st down and 10. And a man received there, Howard, and he's got nothing but green and will get the score. So the Cougars strike back on that. So Gilmore is the one actually coming up with the reception.
And once he got going, it was breakaway speed. That was a beautiful play.
It shows you how explosive this team can be. In spite of the fact that they're trailing here, this is a team that has done, obviously, extremely well to get to this point. So they're no slouch of a football team by any means.
No, in fact, the 2 touchdowns they have were, great plays. And nobody near them.
So how can they rally back from this? You never know. It's just a matter of seeing if they can continue to do. I think they're going to have to do the big plays, really, in order to try to make up that big of a deficit.
They're going to have to do something. Every trick you can imagine.
There's the interception once again by the Cougars that have turned it into 7 points. We'll see once again. Gilmore coming up with a reception. Gets by a couple of defenders and takes it right in for the score. So I'm sure once again Coach Kraft wants to make sure that his guys buckle down, stays focused at this point.
Yeah, because you really do want to go out on your very best. 54-14 is pretty darn good, but 2 mistakes in a close game, 2 scores in a close game could really cost you, and they still have another game to play beyond this.
Exactly. So it will be Finn and Whitener back to receive. And the ball will be taken right at about the 2. A little bit of daylight. Flag up into the air. Man, that was the highest flag I've ever seen.
That was pretty impressive.
That has some projection to it.
I thought it was going to hit one of those lights. I mean, that was really high.
That was almost like a firework. Look to see how high that goes. I want to see the replay just for the flag.
Man, that guy's got a gun for an arm. Look at that thing. Put him at quarterback.
Let's see what the infraction might have been.
Well, let's see. Yeah, block in the back right there.
Was it a block in the back?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I guess from that vantage point.
It was on College of the Canyons.
That was on Canyons.
Wait a second here.
Was it a helmet-to-helmet thing? Because I noticed there was some helmet-to-helmet contact, but
I think they called it the wrong way.
Yeah, they did. They called it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it is an infraction against the Tigers.
A personal foul.
Might have been some extracurricular activity going on while we were not noticing that. I was just too mesmerized by that flag in the air.
Yeah, I think all of us were.
That thing went up about 25, 30 feet. First down and 10. Ball's on to 13 of Riverside. And Thomas on the keeper. Picks up 2 on the play. So Tyler Thomas back into this football game. We kind of wonder, is he going to stick with him here for the second half?
He might.
Brings up a second down for the Tigers.
So he'll pick up 2 on the run back. And this kind of changes the look of the offense here, Jeff.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's definitely going to be a ground offense because it's almost like a wildcat when you have a player that dynamic under center.
So Thomas once again on the keeper, looking for some daylight and maybe a yard or 2. And he gets stacked up pretty significantly by a whole wall of Cougars. Includes the likes of Vuko Bradovic and Caleb Johns, the linebacker.
3rd and 7 for the Tigers.
Thomas staying in this ball game with a 3rd and 6 scenario. Clock running at 9:49. We're seeing some of the CIF scores there on the ticker. Thomas looking long, has a man open, and there's a flag down on the field. Yeah, I think that might be appropriate there. Dylan Laurent.
There's a whole lot of body.
Yeah, fortunately he got held up there by Vuka Bradovic.
On the defense, penalty automatic first down.
Let's head down to Brian Wilson, who has some news and information for us. Brian?
Thanks, guys. So I was talking with the RCC coaches coming out of the half, asked them, hey, so you thinking about putting the pedal down, or are you going to kind of play for injuries? They said that they want to make sure that they finish strong, but they want to be smart with these players going into the championship game next week. Back to you guys in the booth.
Probably explains why we're seeing Thomas in this game. I think Coach Kraft knows that he very likely has a handle on this ball game and wants to keep everybody healthy as much as possible.
And keeping it on the ground will keep that clock running as well. That's key here.
Thomas once again on the keeper with some daylight to the 40. Stumbles just slightly. 1, 2, 3 defenders to beat, but takes it down inside of the 35-yard line.
I told you he can run. I tell you, he gets outside. He's faster than any running back.
This changes the whole dynamic of the Tigers' attack offensively as long as you keep him running that football.
Can you imagine you have Barledge coming back next year and Thomas? That's a pretty darn good tandem of quarterbacks.
First down and 10 once again. It is Tyler getting pushed out of bounds, maybe for a loss of 1 or 2. So Tyler Thomas not able to generate anything on that particular play. So it'll be a loss of 2 on that one. 2nd and 12 as you see the clock continue to roll at 8:41. Elijah Bennett is back in the game as a running back as well. So once again, Kraft is mixing things up in the running back position in addition to his quarterbacks. 2nd and 13 is the call. Tyler Thomas on the keeper. He's going to get wrapped up for a loss one more time. Looks like a loss of another 2 to 3 yards. So it's not fooling College of the Canyons all that much.
Not too much because it's, like I said, it's basically a Wildcat quarterback. But you got to see that Coach Kraft has a lot of confidence in his young quarterback. I mean, he's letting him out there. He's calling his number every time.
You know, it's a great way to essentially have him develop, obviously.
Yes.
Putting him in a real-life game situation. Bennett once again in the backfield as running back. He goes in motion. Thomas once again on the keeper. He'll get stuffed for the 3rd consecutive time.
He's looking to run, though.
Looks like Tigers will have to punt this one away.
Well, my alma mater down 14-6.
It's still in the first quarter.
Plenty of time.
It's still early. There's only, they've only been in this for about less than 30 minutes or so. The game time was 7:30 our time here.
And they got Dante Roby playing. He's got a broken arm.
It's amazing. Roby has been quite the scenario with that broken left hand. Fair catch made inside of the 10.
And with college football, I don't know if this is a new rule that I found out. The ball gets put out, I think, to the 25. If you catch a punt within the 30, I think it is. I think they move it out. I think it'll be set. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's on a kickoff return.
Yeah, I think on a kickoff.
You can call for it, and it'll be, no matter what, it'll start at the 30, I think. So, or a little different rule than normal football that we are accustomed to seeing. But, yeah, they caught it. Fair catch right there.
It's 1st down and 10 here for College of the Canyons. Let's see if they can make something happen with Eden looking over to his left. Catch is made. Ball's taken just past the 24-yard line. Reception made on the play by Alonzel Henderson.
Henderson with the reception. 1st down, Cougars.
I think the Cougars definitely have to be in hurry-up mode here when you're down by that number of points and the clock is rolling almost at 6 minutes now here in the 3rd. It's time to make things happen.
If they don't do anything soon, then they're just going to sit on that game clock.
Eden trying to find an open receiver, gets chased out of the pocket, has one man open and overthrows his intended receiver. Lennox Howard was just way out of the grasp of that football. Brings up a 2nd and 10 scenario here for the Cougars. Clock stopped at 6:20.
We got another quarter left.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time. You know, if they can generate some points here before this quarter ends, I mean, they're going to help themselves. A little sidearm scenario, tries to get it out to Henderson, and he drops it. Probably a little bit too much mustard on that hot dog there.
Yeah, it looked like a I don't know if you remember, Dan Quisenberry, the great sidearm pitcher, played in the major leagues for years, would almost throw it underhand. It would be so sidearmed.
Eden, as we mentioned, 2,700 yards on the season out of West Palm Beach, Florida. The Tigers have done a great job in containing him from running out of that pocket. Back to pass once again. Has an open target. Catch is made. Looks like it'll be a 1st down reception here for Trevon Elliott. Ray Estes making the stop for the Tigers. Excuse me. So 1st down and 10. Cougars can use a few more of those if they're trying to get themselves back in this ball game as the clock moving at 5:54. Got a man open. Catch is made. Taken to the 40, 35, and wrestled down. Lennox Howard making the reception on that play. Sean Dorso making the stop, and now the Cougars beginning to show a little bit of life here as they were ticking down almost to the 5-minute mark in the third. Eden looking long, has a man open, and catch is made for the touchdown. What a reception by Trevon Elliott. Great reception. Let's take a second look at this one, Jeff.
Oh, just a great extension right there. Perfect catch.
Nicely done. So there's a little bit of life yet. The pulse hasn't ended yet here for the Cougars.
It has not.
Very impressive here on that drive. They need a few more of those here, though. Tanner Brown now in for the extra point. Brown fairly reliable in an extra point department, 53 of 55 coming into this game. Kick is up. And it's good. So the clock stopped at 5:13. It is a 54-21 game, not a 27 game.
That's right. We can give them an extra touchdown.
Yeah, let's give it some extra points here.
Make it a better game.
Here we see once again the toss to Elliott.
Pass.
Man, nice pass, nice catch. Impressive. So I think we're seeing the talents of both these ball clubs kind of come to life here.
Let's see if Coach Kraft was angry enough after giving up a score there.
Will he bring Barledge back?
Yeah.
I have a feeling he will.
Bring him right back in.
It's funny. I don't think he wants to have that close of a ball game, even though it's a pretty good lead at this point.
Yeah. A lot of game left to play, though.
Definitely. So this is not out of reach by any means.
20 minutes and 13 seconds left of football.
And that's what you love to see. You love to see a good battle between two very good football teams here in this SCFA championship matchup. Little bit of a short kick, fielded at the 25. Taken to about the, well, still on his feet, and there's flags flying now. Ball is pushed well past the 46, and there's a little bit of a rugby scrum going for that ball right now.
Yeah, it looks like they might have called a penalty here on the sideline.
Was there a fumble, too? Because it looks like the Cougars are indicating they have the football. No indication by any of the refs by any means.
I think there was a penalty on the Tiger sideline. The referee that threw the flag was so far away from the play.
Yeah, it looks like a dead ball. Yeah, you called it, Jeff. Unsportsmanlike call.
And the fumble.
And, a turnover here for College of the Canyons. So there is some life still in this heartbeat here for the Cougars for Canyons. Still some discussions here by the officials.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know whose ball it actually is.
Well, I see the offensive squad here for Riverside being trotted out onto the field. So it looks like it will be the Tigers football.
I think it was the unsportsmanlike on the sideline infraction.
Tyler Thomas is staying in the football game. First and 10 at the 30-yard line here for the Tigers of Riverside. Tyler Thomas still in this ball game. And the keeper once again by Thomas. Tries to scamper around, picks up maybe 2 on the carry. Stop on the play by Bradley Brown. Well, they'll give him 3 yards on that carry. 2nd down and 7.
He can definitely tell Thomas is in good shape. He's ran the ball every darn time.
Yeah, he's not had a chance to throw the ball. They're just Coach Kraft is just going to let him stick to the ground game here.
Run that clock out. Get out of here unscathed.
Maybe that's the whole scenario. He wants to keep that clock moving just by keeping it on the ground for the night. Thomas once again on the carry will pick up a 1st down from what it appears. Vuka Bradovic pushing him out of bounds.
He definitely has an extra gear in his engine.
So Tyler Thomas has done a great job of just holding on to the football. Has not even made a pass attempt so far here in this football game. Hasn't really needed to. As the Tigers sit with a 1st down and 10 right at the 41. Back to pass this time. Looking down the center. Oh, almost had a receiver open. We've got a flag. Giovanni Sanders was your intended receiver, but he might have gotten hit just before the intended reception. Let's take another look at this, Jeff.
Yeah, let's see if he's...
Ooh, I don't know about that. Maybe it's a targeting.
I think they're going to get him for targeting.
Yeah, that looks like a targeting call.
They're either going to get him for targeting or they're going to pull the flag and say it's a no call. Let's see what they end up doing.
He was kind of headed towards that head of Sanders. Now it looks like the ball is going to be marked off here. Yep. 15-yarder.
Yep.
15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Okay. So it is a personal foul called against the Cougars. Advances the ball right to about the 44-yard line of College of the Canyons. That's where the Tigers will have a 1st down and 10. Clock stopped at 3:43. So first pass attempt goes incomplete, but it winds up being with an advancement through in a flag on the field. Tyler Thomas on the keeper. Finds some blocking. Turns the corner. Looks like he's got another 1st down. Vuko Bradovic making the stop for the Cougars.
He is just so quick.
No, he wound up getting out of bounds just a little bit before I thought he got to the marker there, so it looks like he's going to come up with a 2nd down and 3. Or a 2nd down and long 2. Thomas on the keeper, being chased out. Has a wall of defenders he has to get around and is finally going to get knocked out of bounds right at about the 35-yard line. So Thomas once again having some struggles getting chased out of the backfield. That was enough for a 1st down, though. Inside of the 35. So 1st down and 10 here for the Tigers. McGlory back in the backfield. Looking to the end zone. Has a man open and out of the hands of Sanders. Excuse me, that's Leith. Isaiah Leith was the intended receiver for Riverside.
Good looking throw, though.
Very decent throw. Had his man beat, essentially. But it bounces off. Looks like it kind of bounces off the shoulder pads momentarily there.
That's exactly what happened.
Of Audu, the cornerback. 2nd and 10. Thomas going to keep it once again. Has a little bit of daylight. Takes it right to about the 26 where there are some flags down on the field. See Cougars clapping, so this is probably going against the Tigers. Initial indication, it looks like it's a possible holding call. Yes, it is.
10-yard penalty, Second down.
So that'll push 10 yards back here for the Tigers. Or actually 5 yards. Clock stopped at 2:03. Actually, it's rolling here at 2 minutes now. So time beginning to wind down here in the third. It is actually 54-21. There you see 27 on the scoreboard for the Cougars, but it is a 21-point game there for College of the Canyons. Reception is made by number 89. Retzlaff is your receiver there for the Tigers of Riverside.
And he's had a quiet night.
He really has. I mean,
yeah, his name gets called. It seems every game it's Retzlaff. Tonight it's been everyone but Retzlaff.
Yeah, he had coming into this ball game about 495 yards, 5 touchdowns, gets about 14 yards per catch. So yeah, Jeff, it's amazing we've not heard his number called that much times tonight here in this ball game.
He was a good quarterback, turned into a receiver.
3rd and 9. Looking to the end zone and going to be just shy. Looks like it'll bring up a 4th down scenario here for the Tigers. Zach Arshjet was the intended receiver. So on a 4th and 9, Kraft is going to go for it. Why not? You got this big of a lead.
And get this young quarterback some gained experience here.
Put him under some pressure, and this is really the best way to do it. On a 4th and 9, looking for a receiver, has one man almost open and bobbled with an almost reception. Defended on the play by Ryan Hay, the safety. So it'll be a turnover on downs. Lawrence, the intended receiver. So Tyler Thomas not able to generate any points on that series as we're inside of a minute's play here in the third.
Maybe they just want to get out of here because it's really darn cold.
First and 10, ball's on to 33. Give is to Dunn. Dunn with a little bit of daylight takes it to the 40. Keeps his feet moving, maybe about a pickup of 8 yards on the play.
On the tackle, number 46.
Lemo Unga making the stop for Riverside.
For the Cougars. 2nd and 1, correction.
Clock well inside of 30 seconds to play in the third. Dunn, the lone setback in the backfield. They give us to Dunn. Maybe a yard if they give him forward progress. Clock's rolling. And it looks like they may not get off another play before this quarter comes to a close.
No gain on the play, brings up a 3rd.
Yep, that is the end of the third quarter, and the Tigers are just 15 minutes away from a possible state championship as they lead this ball game 54-21. We have some news and information from Brian Wilson. Brian, what do you got for us?
Hey, thanks. Yeah, so I was talking with the coaches coming out of halftime, and I was just wondering, what makes up this team so great? He said the words of Tom Kraft are play like the best version of yourself every day. And it looks like this team is taking that to heart as this as this game winds down. I do have a little bit of injury news over here. They are working on Giovanni Sanders' right wrist, and with this game being where it is, I wouldn't anticipate him to go back in the game and risk further injury. Back to you guys in the booth.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian, for that update. So we'll keep an eye on Giovanni Sanders to see what will happen with him through the remainder of this game.
Yeah, hopefully he will be fine because he's one of those guys you definitely need if you're going to play in 2 weeks. Another good side of playing in 2 weeks is you're going to get a lot of rest. You're going to give your guys some time off. Your guys are going to heal. There's a difference between hurt and being injured. And guys that might be hurt right now can recover in those next 2 weeks.
Okay, the Cougars now with a first down and 10. We already have whistles and a timeout being called by Coach Kraft.
That's pretty rare, getting a timeout before you even get a playoff.
Armani Eden, 248 yards so far as we're headed into the fourth quarter. 3 touchdowns with a long of 57 on the night. Henderson has been his favorite target with 82 yards, 1 touchdown, and a long reception of 57. There you see the Cougars of College of the Canyons, Ted Ayacinda, your head coach, as we previously mentioned, 7 years at the helm of College of the Canyons. Actually spent some time as an assistant previous to that. Head coach Chuck Lyon, who was there for, I believe, 20-plus years, and they won a national championship way back in 2004. So Ayacinda is no stranger to championship football by any means. 3rd down and 1. Give goes right up the middle and gets stacked up, and I think it should be enough for a first down. Yep, they'll get the first. So Eden advancing the change here for the Cougars. They're trying to keep their hopes alive here early here in the fourth quarter. Play action. Eden has a man open, catch is made. Continues on his feet to the 30, 25, 20. And knocked it out of bounds right at about the 11-yard line. Alonzel Henderson picking up the catch here for the Cougars.
Man, I'll tell you what, they're not giving up the fight. They've been playing pretty well here. Like we said, if they can win something, maybe win the second half, those are victories, especially against a number 1 ranked team in the nation, the Tigers.
So they are knocking on the door here. Ball is spotted at the 10-yard line. Eden on the keeper. Gets racked and stacked up just at the 10-yard line. Looks like he's going to get forced back maybe for a loss of 1 or so.
Brings up a 2nd and goal at the 11-yard line.
So it is a loss of 1 on the play. There we see another update on the Ramona Esperanza game. Ramona still trailing in that championship game here in the second quarter. So we're rooting for those Rams. They're just a few miles down the road from us. Eden almost gets picked off in the end zone. He is really trying to force that one. Let's take a second look at this one, Jeff.
Yes, yeah. That second, I'll tell you what, they just haven't been able to pull away any interceptions tonight. They've had looks.
Still a 3rd and goal with the ball spotted at the 11. And Eden taking a little bit of time getting the signals, and they're going to take a timeout. Yeah, a little bit of confusion there on the sidelines. And I think they wisely just call for a timeout before any confusion wastes that specific play.
Yeah, this might be, in fact, this is probably our last game this year for Riverside TV for football.
Yeah, that's right. This will close out our broadcast for the 2019 season. It's amazing how quick it's been. We've been at this since August. Can you believe that? I kind of miss August because it was a little bit warmer then.
I would love 114-degree weather right now.
Oh, man.
I honestly, I can't remember being this cold at a football game. And you and I we're in a booth, but it's an open booth.
It's an open-air booth. As we mentioned, this particular stadium has been around for nearly 100 years, and I think this building has been around for about that same amount of time, just about.
Oh, I'm worried about a couple of my toes. They might have to be amputated. I'm sure there's a team doctor around.
We'll take you down to one of the trainers in the next time out.
Man alive.
3rd and goal, ball at the 11. And flags are flying. Probably a false start. No, it gets wrapped up for a loss. Zach Barola making the sack from what it looks like. Well, let's see what the call is.
And that was a free play right there. I imagine it should have been. You got to try to score, especially if it's against the Tigers.
Yeah, encroachment. Wow. Thought it might have been a false start, but encroachment by the Tigers. So this will advance the ball to about the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. So third, actually they're going to call it 3rd and 6, or a third 6 yards to the end zone here. Eden trying to get the call from the sidelines here. Clock rolling inside of 13 minutes. Oh, picked off, and nothing but green. To the 40, to the 30, to the 20. It is touchdown Tigers by Jalen Bowens. Oh, man, how about taking that air out of the sail? Jalen Bowens, essentially, it was, what, a 94 yard interception here?
And remember, Bowens dropped 2 balls that were thrown to him in this game. So the third time a charm.
Third time a charm.
And I'll tell you what, probably the biggest interception in his career, where he caught it at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, so it's like a 98-yard interception return for Bowens. Amazing. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be the backbreaker here, Jeff.
Yes, it will be. I'll tell you what, though. Wow, Bowens had 2 earlier.
It shows you what the Tigers can come up with, though, defensively. And it looks like we got a penalty here against Riverside for celebrating. Our referee still having some issues with the microphone. We needed to go to Radio Shack or something to get him a different microphone.
Yes, we do.
Of course, Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't, that's right.
That. Yeah.
You have to go to Amazon. Hey, we might have it here by the end of the game.
Kick is up on the way, and it's good. 40-point lead now here for the Tigers. Man, just when you thought Canyons might have a little bit of an opportunity here, an ill-advised pass just kind of changes the whole scenario.
I mean, look where he catches that football. He jumps the gap. He sees it.
Oh, man, timed it just right. He was licking his chops. Take a look at this. He saw it. Oh, man.
Going to be tired after that.
Yeah, I would be exhausted after that one. So Bowens takes it back to the house for a 98-yard interception. Bowens coming out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, so he's another one of those players that comes from out of state here to be in Southern California.
All over the United Nations of Riverside.
Again, it shows you why so many players do come from across the nation to come to Southern California, because truly this is the best community college football, as well as Northern California. So I think the Golden State is very well represented in terms of community college athletics.
Hey, you got guys from Queensland, Australia, America, Samoa, Phelan, California.
Way from Phelan. And the ball's taken down to about the 32-yard line. A little bit of extracurricular activity going on, but I don't see a flag anyplace. So the Cougars will have a 1st down and 10 right at about the 34-yard line.
And Coach Kraft calling his last timeout.
He's having a discussion with the zebra stripes here. He's not happy about something, not sure exactly what.
Riverside City College, this is the third final out of the half.
So final timeout here for Riverside. Kraft is a little hot under the collar right now.
He's angry about something.
Yeah. I think he was fighting the last call there.
15 for 139 yards. 15 penalties for 139 yards.
So you may have heard that in the background. The Riverside Tigers over 100 yards in penalties tonight.
That's kind of been par for the course for them.
You know, if you're winning ball games,
it doesn't matter.
What the heck?
Yeah. You're up when you're up 40.
Like I previously mentioned with Mount San Antonio back in the day, I think Coach Bill Fitz just kind of threw up his hands at one point, just to forget it. We're getting 100-yard penalties per game. Let's just do it. We're winning ball games. First down and 10. Eden dumps it out. Catch is made. Ball is on the turf. Oh, man, that could have been another disaster here. Looks like we have Trevon Elliott on the turf, who made the catch, was hit, coughed up the football, and he's down injured at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he might have got his wind knocked out of him by the way he's hunched over. There's nothing worse than getting the wind knocked out of you.
Absolutely, especially on a cold, blizzardy night like tonight. Oh, the ball got knocked out of his hands there on the turf. And luckily for the Cougars, comes up in their possession. Hey, I want to give a shout out to a great young lady I met before the ball game. It is Susan Ashley. She's 86 years old. She's been a 40-year member of the Booster Club for the Riverside Community College Tigers. She loves to come out and watch football, even in this cold, rainy weather.
Yeah, she's here every game. She even said it's not raining. It was perspiring or something, she told me as I was walking up. And I said, what? I said, no, it's pretty darn cold. Hey,
look at the Ramona
Rams.
Rams. They are tied up at 21 against Esperanza there in the second quarter, so we have ourselves some more championship football just a few miles down the road here from Riverside City College. So we are rooting for those Rams. We're going to keep an eye on those guys. Unfortunately, this game will most likely end before that game comes to a close.
Oh, stop it, JR.
We have some hopes here, Jeff. Flag on the play, in and out of the pocket, gets chased to about the 43-yard line. Will be shy of the first down marker.
We might be back before Saturday Night Live kicks off tonight at 11:35.
Oh, man, it's a holding call against the Cougars.
Coming into the offense, 10-yard penalty.
So it's been quite the momentous weekend here for Riverside. When you got two championship games in town, you have the Riverside Festival of Lights just down the road as well.
It's awesome.
Great weekend to be in Riverside.
Hashtag, as they say, or as I used to call it, a number symbol. Hashtag
pound sign. We called it the pound sign back
that's
in
right.
the day.
For the
what
rotary
is this hashtag
phones.
nonsense?
Yeah, come on.
These doggone kids, they change everything.
Millennials. Everybody in the truck's like, yeah, those millennials.
Other flag on the play.
Stop calling penalties, guys. I got to be nice to these refs.
False start here.
I got in trouble earlier this year talking about referees in a high school game. All in jest, of course, but no. That was a great referee call right there. A perfect flag.
Yeah, we do have to walk through the parking lot on the way home here, so you never know what can happen to you.
Our guys in the truck going, don't say anything, Jeff. Be quiet.
Leave the zebra stripes alone, please. Second and 29 for the Cougars. Eden looking down long, almost picked off again, but the catch is made by the tight end.
Yeah, Jalen Bowens was right there again.
Man, almost had another one. But it's still going to be third and long, 3rd and 14 to be specific. Oh, trouble here for Eden. And he's brought down for a big loss. So Armani Eden gets dropped for the loss, brings up a 4th down, and the Cougars will have to punt this one away.
Brings up a 4th and very long. Brings up a 4th.
4th down, 25 yards to go here, and obviously this will be a punt here for the Cougars.
Go for it.
Canyons. Yeah, let's do a fake point. Let's go Boise State here.
Well, they got 10 in the box here. Let's see what they.
He's going to do a rugby type kick. Fair catch. Ball takes a nice bounce here for the Cougars. Gets inside of the 35, almost rolls down. Yeah, right to the 30. The guys are trying to throw a little wind at it.
As you get down and blow it.
They'll take anything they can get at this point. Clock's up at 9:43, 61-21 in favor of Riverside. It does look somewhat inevitable that the state championship game will be against the College of San Mateo and the Tigers of Riverside. That'll be in Bakersfield on December the 14th. Tyler Thomas still in this football game here, Jeff. This time he's going to hand it off.
That's the first time I think he's handed it off.
I think he has. Bennett is your ball carrier. That's a little bit of a surprise. So Bennett's back into the backfield here for the Tigers of Riverside. So we talk about that state championship game, Jeff, and it actually probably is a national championship game as well, because essentially those two teams, Riverside and San Mateo, are first and second in the national rankings.
That's right.
So this winds up being a national title in a couple of weeks here for Riverside. Possible national title. 2nd and 7, so there was a pickup of 3 by Bennett. Whistles on the field. No, delay a game. So Tyler Thomas trying to take up as much time as possible. Takes up a little bit too much time, and we'll lose 5 yards on the play. Second and 12. Tyler Thomas going to keep it. And makes the spin move and maybe picks up 4 yards on the carry.
Ram high down now.
Ooh, man.
It's a seesaw battle.
What a seesaw battle. It's still in the second quarter.
Wow,
that's amazing.
It's a TV game.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. I think Fox is covering the game tonight.
I believe we have some of our former announcers on that game as well.
Yeah, we got Ghazal Hassan on there.
So it's great to see some of our colleagues, our alumni.
Or as I like to call him, Geisel Hazen. As I called him earlier today. Asked if he was on the call. I was hoping to meet up with him at Ramona earlier.
A little bit of movement. I think we're going to have a false start. Yep, we do on Riverside. And just a reminder, the Festival of Lights continues from now until December the 31st. If you don't have an opportunity to get out there, you got to make the time to get out there because it is such a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah, I had so much fun last night. I actually I was on the call, as they say.
There you go.
I had the most fun I've ever had in my life. Saw a lot of dear friends.
So much to see and do for every member of the family. Long pass here. Catch is made at the 40-yard line. Beautiful reception by Rolandus Whitener, making the catch for a first down.
Perfect pass right over the shoulder.
Nicely done by Whitener. Great toss by Tyler Thomas as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've been looking at his running capabilities, but nonetheless, he's able to throw that football as well. So Tom Kraft keeping him in this football game as the clock continues to roll at 7:25 remaining in this ball game.
Good. Run that clock. I'm telling you, I'm losing toes by the minute. I only have 6 left. We only have 7 more minutes.
Tyler on the keeper, going to get wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. They might give them half a yard on that one. We'll see how this spot goes by the zebra stripes.
I'm more worried about the hair on my face because I have none on my head. It's like, when your grass freezes and, you get the dew and it freezes.
Yeah.
I'm worried if it freezes off my beard, I'm going to look like a newborn baby everywhere I walk around.
You can just peel it off. You don't have to shave.
No, just telling you, man. I'm just having a hard time closing my eyeballs because the white parts of my eyes are frozen.
Oh, boy. Clock continues to roll at 6:39. So really the strategy here by Tom Kraft is to kind of keep that clock rolling by keeping it on the ground. And once again, Tyler Thomas breaks free for just a little bit, maybe picks up 4 to 5 yards on the carry.
Takes it down to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, if I was those football players, they got all those pads and helmets on, I'd still be hugging each other. I'm freezing. Look at everybody over there. They got nice beanies on and helmets, and everybody looks warm down there.
I got to give kudos to the crowd who showed up tonight, too, because it obviously is cold. It was rainy earlier on, and they've stuck with it. It's great to see the support here by the city of Riverside for such quality football right in their own community. Wetzlaff in motion. Keeper by Thomas. Has some daylight to the 15, 10, 5. Inside of the 5-yard line, right to about the 3 before he's knocked out of bounds. Aldu makes the stop there for the Cougars. Great play action on the keeper, and you see the speed by Thomas. Ooh, kind of falls a little rough there on that right leg.
I'm sorry, my vocal cords froze for a minute.
I think we need some coffee or some hot chocolate up here.
Oh.
Tyler Thomas on the keeper, takes it in for the score.
Everybody's on the floor but Thomas. I mean, he was unscathed.
Made a little stutter step, turns it up, makes the score. 3-yard touchdown run here for Tyler Thomas. Great blocking once again. Look at that by your offensive line.
And Retzlaff with a nice block to get him in, too.
Yeah, your receivers taking up the slack on the blocking end of it. And look, we're going to have a 68-21 lead at this point. If we can split the uprights, looks like we can, and we do. So can we say this one's in the books?
I think we could have said that a long time ago, JR.
Can we turn out the lights? This party's over, as Dandy Don Meredith used to do on Monday Night Football. All taken up by some great play by Tyler Thomas on the long pass. And now he takes it inside of the 5-yard line on this run. And finally wraps it up with a 4 or 5-yard scamper into the end zone for the score. So start making your travel plans now to head out to Bakersfield on December the 14th to go and show support to the Riverside Tigers as they will take on the College of San Mateo in the state championship and really the national championship game.
That's right.
Ball's taken to the 20-yard line. Run back there by DeMaje Williams. Looks like we have a Tiger down on the turf with an injury.
Everybody up here in the booth. Oh, he gets up on his own recognizance. Hey, good job.
I believe that's number 42. Is that Augustine Boroquez?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. He's going to get helped off the field. Hopefully that's not a serious injury by any means, so we'll kind of hope for the best for Austin.
Maybe we'll put some weight on it, which is good.
Yeah. Definitely needing some help to get off the field. It's kind of nice that Riverside will have a couple of weeks to prepare for that championship game.
Yeah. Fix some of those injuries.
Will take over to be first pitch in. Cougars
Just for your information, we will not be covering that game here for Riverside TV,
Yeah.
so this is going to wrap up our 2019 football coverage. Thank you so much to those of you who have been watching. We've had some really good coverage here, and we've had some really great viewership as well. Toss out on the play, pickup of about 1. Looks like the ball carrier on that one is Moises Haynes. First time we've seen him tonight into the ball game. So it looks like College of the Canyons is sending in some replacements as well. Looks like we have a change at the quarterback position. Michael Wilson is now taking the snap here for the Cougars. So Ted Iacinta trying to give some of his players some time out on the field, which is a great move on his part. Williams making the reception on that. First time we've seen Williams. Travius Williams.
We did 20-plus games this year.
It is a heck of a lot of coverage that we've brought to you here on Riverside TV. And once again, we thank you so much for all of you who have tuned in week after week.
We have college basketball coming up as UC Riverside and RCC will get televised by Riverside TV.
Going to call it 3rd and 4. Clock is moving at 3:55. Looking for a receiver. Catch is made. Nope. Just out of the grasp of Zarek Scruggs Jr., the wide receiver. First time we've seen him as well, out of Eatonville, Washington. So the Cougars, unfortunately, are going to come up short once again in their bid to try to come up with a state championship. They are certainly a very fine club. They really can't hang their heads too much in spite of the fact that this did not go their way tonight. Fair catch already being signaled and taken right at about the 35. Durso was back there for Riverside.
Does Riverside try to score again?
You know, with Tom Kraft, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Does he want to get into the 70s here? Let's see what happens. I mean, he's got more than enough time to make something happen. Tyler Thomas remaining in the ball game as your quarterback. Joseph Griffin now sent in as a running back here for the Tigers. First time we've seen him tonight. Oh, looks like the ball's on the turf momentarily, but I think the Tigers will maintain possession. Griffin was the ball carrier. He picks up at least 1 yard on the carry. They'll give him 2 on that one, so it's 2nd down and 8. Clock rolling, almost at that 3-minute mark.
Brings up a 2nd and 8 for the Tigers.
2nd and 8 is the call, as now we're inside of 3 minutes to play in this ball game. Give goes right up the middle one more time, keeping the feet moving. Looks like your ball carrier once again is Griffin.
Brings up a 3rd and 1 for the Tigers.
3rd and 1 with 2.5 to play. And I think Kraft maybe just wants to keep it on the ground and run out that clock at this point.
Get the first down and get another set of downs and walk out of here with a nice win.
Yeah. Boy, a very impressive win. Great way to tune up for that state championship title matchup against the College of San Mateo. Give again right up the middle. Looks like it'll be a first down pickup for Joseph Griffin. Move the chains. Our PA announcer gets a little excited
Look,
here.
that's Mr. Riverside. That's Leon Culpepper. And I love doing an impression of him. He's one of my dear friends. I said, hello, everybody. I'm Leon Culpepper. He's the voice of Riverside. Been around forever.
He's almost like Tony the Tiger when you think about it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Down to about a minute and a half to go, and it looks like Riverside will just kind of run things out for the night. And that's the way it will wind up. So, Jeff, in another impressive ball game here for the Tigers of Riverside.
Yeah, they've gotten better and better and better. I mean, think about this. College of the Canyons beat up. I think they just drenched Coach Kraft.
Did they get Kraft? He's not happy about that either.
No, I would never do that to that man. I'm scared to look at him wrong.
Yeah, he's just kind of taking it in stride. He's not.
He just said, I'm benching whoever did that.
Somebody's running laps on Monday.
Oh, look at him. He is angry. Let's see if our guys can get Coach Kraft as he's all. Got to keep him alive down there. That's too cold for that.
This will be your last snap of the ball game. And just like that, your Riverside Tigers headed to the state championship and to a national championship matchup against the College of San Mateo. What an impressive win here for the Tigers with that type of score, Jeff.
I mean, Tom Kraft, it took him a decade, but every single year he has been phenomenal. But what a way to cap off a decade of winning with your 101st win here at Riverside.
Yeah, 101 now in the books here for Tom Kraft, and we're going to try to get a hold of a couple of Tigers before we say goodnight. I know Brian Wilson's going to scamper along the sidelines there looking for somebody to speak with, but we'll take a look at one last play, actually one of the plays that was very influential and instrumental in this win tonight against College of the Canyons. There you see another miscue by College of the Canyons and a nice run in for the score. The Cougars showed a little bit of life at various portions of tonight's ball game, but they just had some struggles. There you see another great reception on the play there by Isaiah Leaf. He was the man of the hour. In fact, he could be our player of the game.
In fact, they're going to have a nice little trophy ceremony, I'm sure, representing the southern part of this beautiful state of ours. As we see another big-time score from Gio Saunders.
So the Tigers, there you see, coming up with a big defensive play. So defensively and offensively, this team really shined all night long. One last go-around there for the Cougars of College of the Canyons, taking it in for the score. And Eden with this nice long reception being made by Trevon Elliott. But this 98-yard return was the backbreaker, man. That just came at the wrong time. Jalen Bowens coming up with the interception. And I'm not sure if that's a record run back. I'm wondering if it is, if it's in the school history books there.
Well, if it's not, it's definitely his own personal record because, wow, what a great win. 68-21 in a SCFA football championship final. I mean, that's just unheard of.
That is an incredible score. That looks like something you would find in one of the earlier games in the season.
Yes.
When teams are still trying to find themselves. But, man, the last four games of this postseason have just been tremendous here for Riverside.
They've just gotten better offensively, defensively, all around. And the score could have been worse than this.
It could have been.
I mean, they were nice.
It could have been.
And honestly, you look at San Mateo, who won 41-0.
41-0 this afternoon.
The Tigers win by a little more than that.
So you really are definitely getting the best two teams in the state, the best two teams in the country that will match up in a couple of weeks in Bakersfield.
Yeah, 47-point win. That's just incredible for a final. So we see Coach Kraft is talking to his group as Brian Wilson is going to grab a couple guys. maybe Jalen Bones, maybe.
Oh, we're tied up again there in Ramona
High
versus Esperanza.
Ram High. You know, if they win, I'm going to say it was because of
that inspirational talk.
Yes, the inspirational.
That did it all. That inspirational, motivational speech by our own Jeff Gorham before the game there with Ramona and Esperanza has obviously made the difference.
Yeah, but if they lose, I'm gonna blame the coach. I'm gonna blame Coach Mush.
We're rooting for Coach Mush big time, man.
Yeah,
we are rooting for him.
I've been talking to him for weeks now. I said, hey, you can just keep winning. You get third place in your league, you're going to win a CIF championship. You can't. I mean, it's just what a great year for Riverside football.
Absolutely.
We talk about, we saw John W. North make some big strides this year.
Yes.
We saw Ramona, who's, like I said, third place in a CIF championship. We saw Norte Vista have a great season. It just was a fun year. And I believe this is my 5th year covering high school football for the city of Riverside. And
wow.
I'll tell you what, it just gets better and better and better. And I believe I want to say it was close to 25 games.
Just about when you piece together all the high school games and the college games that were added for the 2019 coverage season.
Right.
It's been great to see community college football get some highlights as well, because I think this is the most undersold a bit of football in Southern California.
I agree.
It really is. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and we'll have an opportunity to have Brian Wilson chat with a few of the members of the Tigers here. You've been watching all the action here on Riverside TV.
The Community Police Review Commission was created to promote public confidence in the professionalism and accountability of the City of Riverside's Police Department. The commission consists of an all-civilian panel of members from across the city. The commission's roles include advising the mayor and city council on all police relations issues, reviewing and investigating officer-involved deaths, receiving complaints, and conducting hearings on misconduct against sworn Riverside police officers, making policy suggestions, and bringing community concerns to the attention of the Riverside Police Department. If you're interested in learning more about how you can serve or for information on the commission, visit riversideca.gov/CPRC.
Welcome back to Wheelock Stadium as the Riverside Tigers celebrating a 68-21 victory over College of the Canyons. J.R. Ibarra along with Jeff Gorham. Happy to have brought you tonight's action here on Riverside TV. Taking a look at some of the stats for the night, Jacob Barlage, the starting quarterback for Riverside, wound up with 309 yards,
Yikes.
4 touchdowns just tonight. His last 3 games have been 300+. So 4 games in a row with at least 300 yards passing.
And he only played a half. Pretty an amazing stat right there.
Tyler Thomas had 42 yards in terms of his throwing, but Tyler Thomas had 105 yards rushing tonight, although he had a loss of about 11. So a net yardage of 94 yards on the ground. And I think we're going to head down to the field with Brian Wilson. Brian, let's talk to some of those champions tonight.
Hey, thanks, guys. Here with 3 very special players from tonight's game. We'll start over here with Isaiah Leith. Had a great night catching the football. What did you see on tape with this team? Was there anything that you picked up on that told you that you'd have a good game tonight?
Nothing really special, honestly. They're just like every other team we've seen. We just came in, executed, and got it done. That's it.
RCC hasn't been back to the hasn't won a state championship since 1989. What's been the message this week in practice? What does this mean to you?
Honestly, nothing. We just got to come in and prepare like it's another game. That's all it is.
All right, and then we're here with Jalen Bowens, who had a pick 6 where it looked like the team was kind of trying to get back into a little bit. What did you see on that play, and how quick did you know that you were gone?
We schemed all week, so the coach, he just said, no,
stay on the line and just sink back and just catch the pick. Like, we schemed it all week.
And then same thing to you. What does this win, what does this going to the state championship mean to you?
It's big, man. It's big. So we haven't won since 1989, so, we're trying to get one in 2019,
Okay, go have fun at your trophy ceremony. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Brian. We had a chance to talk to really two of the key players here for the Tigers. We were hoping to get a chance to talk to Kobe Fitzgerald, but I guess he decided to go and celebrate.
Did you see Coach Kraft was yelling at him? He said, hey, get over here. So anytime Coach Kraft says anything, you do it.
You'd better go. Well, that's going to wrap things up for our football coverage for 2019 for Riverside TV. Our thanks to Scott Brocious and the crew here who have done a tremendous job throughout the 2019 campaign. And we thank you once again for coming alongside with us to be our viewers for the 2019 football season. Wouldn't you say it's another successful one we can put in the books here, Jeff?
Oh, it's been a wonderful year, and this has just been kind of the yearbook of the year for Riverside. As you see Riverside City College with a huge win and just an exclamation point on another great season for Riverside TV.
And we're rooting for those Rams of Ramona as they fall back 35-28 right now, but there's still plenty of time in that football game, so we're rooting for those Rams. For Jeff Gordon, for all of us here at Riverside TV, this is J.R. Ibarra. Once again, it's the Riverside City College Tigers 68, the College of the Canyons Cougars 21, winding up as your SCFA football champions. Good night. Thanks for joining us, everybody.